Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Super Old Game Saturday. If it's a Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have classic gaming goodness to play, and we have a lot of it tonight. You're seeing this error message. Don't worry, we're all right because we're playing the PlayStation 2 again. Hit that X button to bypass this. Put that up just for the purpose of how the loading is on the PS2, and also because of the fact that when you turn the console on, it will cut the feed out. As you also see, I'll go into this briefly. We're playing Midway Arcade Treasures, by the way, and I'll get into that in just a second. But we played with the HD cable, or the component cable for PS2. We have to go back to the composite because of how elements of the connection were going for that, and also because this game doesn't support it, so I was like, alright, I want to make sure everything's going to be set, and we're not going to get feed cutouts. But yeah, this is Midway Arcade Treasures for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. We are playing the PlayStation 2 version. It came out in 2003 from Midway and was developed by Digital Eclipse, a company that has a lot of skill with doing port jobs of old games, which we have a bunch of old arcade games from Midway. So this is going to be a little... Hi, Alecverse, how you doing? Hope you're having a good weekend so far, and you're ready for the Midway Arcade Treasures goodness and all ofness, I guess, because there's some stuff in here that I'm either not very familiar with or stuff I'm kind of not huge on. But yeah, we're here to play this, and it's going to be kind of like the shooter showcase we did. I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm doing well, too. I'm having a good time, having a good weekend. Extended weekend as far as the Memorial Day holiday weekend. And fitting, I guess we're playing the Midway collection because, or this Midway collection, of which there are two other ones. Okay, there are two others on the consoles. There's also one on the PSP and one on the on the PC. And actually, no, there were ones on PlayStation. I was going to say that before this. But the Arcade Treasures side of things, there were three on console. And when we do the second and the third game, which we'll do at some point in the future, I'm going to use the Xbox for the second, and we're going to use the GameCube for the third. So we're going to cover all of the three main consoles that are around. For tonight, we're playing PlayStation 2, and we got 24 games. The memories. Alright, so I'm going to be looking forward to hearing your memories, Alecverse, and the rest of chat as well on what we have on the Midway Arcade Treasures game, and I guess on all the games, because we got 24 games to get through. So as I mentioned, it's going to be like the Shooter Showcase, and we're going to cover each and every one of these. And yeah, it is an interesting collection, this one, when it came out, including some games that I believe didn't really get a whole lot of play yet, and at the time anyway. But there's also other things. I'll briefly show this off. Hopefully the feed is going to hold, because it looks on my television like it's cutting, but the way that the capture card is showing, we're all set. These are the extras in here, which show elements of the games. We're going to start with 720. I guess we're going to kind of go down the list, specific as far as the ordering, with one exception. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, this is 720. This is a skateboarding game that came out in 1986, and if you go into the menus here, you can see a lot of extras for stuff, sell sheets, elements of the cabinets, history of the game if they give you history, trivia, again, if they give it to you, and also video clips of the developers, basically the inspiration of the moves of the game and some other aspects. The countless hours I spent on Klax, that is a very good game in this collection. If we will hit Klax, we're going to hit all the games in this. So that's going to be... See, I did 20. Okay, I did 20 for the Shooter Showcase when I realized, wait, I missed Scramble. But yeah, we're doing more, technically, tonight, because we have 24 games here. We will definitely get to Klax, which is, you know, let's find Klax. Let's start there. I was going to go down the row, but I'll go in order. We'll start Klax, and then I think the other thing we'll do is, wherever it is, I want us to do Robotron, and then I want to do Blaster, because Blaster's right here. That's kind of the sequel of sorts to Robotron, so feasibly, I think we start in some areas. But yeah, there are a lot of games on here that are of interest, a lot of games I spent time playing when I played it. Some I actually have not played much. But yeah, let's start with Klax, then. This came out in 1990. There's a puzzle game that was released by Atari. I mean, this is the Midway collection, but there was some elements of Atari as far as the releasing. Good taste. Alright, well, thank you. I take that as a huge compliment. This is supposed to be a Tetris sequel, apparently. From what I read... Oh, right, you get there's the 90s, and there is time for Klax. Okay, it says 1989. It was kind of weird the way I tried to peg this down, as far as how the release is. But yeah, it was supposed to be a Tetris sequel of sorts, because there was a question on releasing Tetris. I think there might have been a connection that Midway and Atari Games had with Tengen, with the NES version that, well, got released and then got pulled off the market. We'll get into that when we do more Tetris elements, but yeah... With that, we have the Klax game, and one thing I probably should have done before I jumped in, change the controls, but they give you an option for waves, a sequel to Klax, to Tetris. Alright, to be fair, I'm going to level with you. I was kind of going based upon what a lot of the Wikipedia entries were saying on this, because there's a lot of games in this. That's what I heard. I don't... Oh yeah, you get also some of those voice acting elements of this, like the woman girl going, Klax wave. So basically what you want to do is you want to wait and see those little blocks come down and put them down. Basically catch them as they come along. But yeah, from what I read, apparently they were trying to position this as a take on Tetris, but then they lost the license apparently, or Nintendo got it. And actually, we kind of went over this a little bit when we did Castle of Illusion, basically stating that when it came to the licensing of Tetris, Nintendo went over to the Soviet Union, then Soviet Union, to get the rights for it. Tengen released a version of it on NES, unlicensed, and it was such a confusing case for the Soviet Union at the time that they wanted to get Mikhail Gorbachev involved in saying the guy from Nintendo was going over to get the rights. They're saying, what the hell are you doing trying to steal this game from us or steal rights to that? I believe there was an episode of GeForce Icons that went into that a little bit. And basically they're saying, well, yeah, they were going to potentially be in trouble, but then Nintendo came out with that, and then I think they went into a lawsuit with Tengen to get it pulled off the market. But from what I understood, what I heard, this was meant to be sort of a sequel to Tetris, although we're looking at this. Basically, we're catching the blocks as they come and dropping them and getting enough points there so you have an empty space enough to get extra stuff. You have to get 5 Klaxes, which are combinations of 3. Yeah, they said it was a sequel, but, I mean, we're looking at this. This is nothing like Tetris. Although, to be fair, and also, you can press down on the D-pad or analog stick, depending on how you want to play it, to get the Klaxes coming down. But yeah, this plays nothing like Tetris, although that is an interesting point to get into as well. I mentioned this a couple times with some other stuff we've done. Nintendo, often, when they had the Tetris license, they'd put it onto stuff that really had nothing to do with it, just because they figured, well, alright, Tetris is the name that everybody knows as far as puzzle games at the time. And I thought, like, okay, they have a brand name, so they'll go with that. Like, for example, we've mentioned Panel to Pawn, Tetris Attack on this channel more times than I can count, Pokemon Puzzle League, all that. Nintendo had the rights, and they said, okay, let's just name it Tetris, or Tetris Attack, so that's how they went about it, which made sense, because when you think about it, at the time, when you think about puzzle games, it was almost like, okay, you have to do diagonals in this case, like I've been kind of doing as is, of 3, but, yeah, what, wait a second, why is it not letting me move? Alright, here's weird. Okay, at least I showed that the Klaxes are apparently, okay, there we go. Alright, yeah, my D-pad wasn't working for some reason on this, and you can use analog stick or, D-pad for it. I'm gonna go in the options next game we play, just to get a sense of that. But yeah, as I was saying, I think with puzzle games at the time, Tetris was, like, synonymous with that. The idea of, like, when you buy tissues from the store, you can buy brands of tissues, you can buy Puffs, you can buy Scotties or something like that, but everybody knows it's Kleenex. So it was like, oh, it's synonymous that way. Or the way Nintendo was synonymous with video games for a while there, particularly in the US. So I think that was the idea of the thing, like, well, something like this, I guess calling it Tetris would sell better feasibly than something for Klax, but then again, this was an arcade game. Diagonals yuck. Okay, Diagonals yuck on this game, or Diagonals yuck in puzzle games in general? Oh, right, I forgot about that, because you can also stack them on top, and boom, drop them that way. Alright, but I got a game over, but we will... Alright, hit start and do that, but I'm gonna try again. But yeah, in that case, it's all about, you know, spatial positioning, and that's kind of what makes it interesting and makes it a little more hairy, as you're saying, especially if, yeah, I'm going quickly and getting these Klaxes in trouble. But I mean, I guess with the name, I mean, going back to the naming thing of this being Tetris, I guess it would have been feasibly easier to sell than Klax, but then again, I just like the name of Klax. I just like the... Okay, this game, yeah, which makes sense, and you just have sometimes other games will do the diagonal things a little easier. But I think with this game, maybe because it was an arcade game, I think it's kind of the perfect name for it, and it just has this kind of, like, futuristic element. Actually, it's interesting. This is probably... Okay, this is, I think, along with maybe one other one, the newest game that we're going to be playing on this collection, which came out in I said 90, but also said 89, so okay. Uh-oh. Alright, yeah, I'm getting in trouble because I'm not paying attention. Or, the other thing it feasibly do is... I should try to remember if the silvers are... Okay, no, I'm at the top, but... Yeah, as I stack them, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, I'm stuck, and when you get full like that, it's game over. Okay, keep hitting start to do that, because I guess my instinct is, you know, we're going to do that, and going. But yeah, I'm going to play a little more. How we're going to work, I think, on these games, that we'll probably do, like, 10, 15 minutes a pop, feasibly, on these, I guess. But we'll also go about it I mean, for other things, depending on what the game is, how good I am at the game. Not necessarily if I like the game, because I'll say, as far as Klax is concerned, I never played it until this collection, but I really like this idea of the game. Maybe it's also I'm a sucker for stuff with puzzle games, but just the style of it, even like the personnel, we're going to get that in with a lot of the Midway games we're going to play, which is, they had tons of personalities, this kind of weird stuff, and we're going to see that when we get into the stuff Eugene Jarvis made, of which there's a ton on this. And when you think about it with Midway was really kind of, in a lot of ways, one of the more wild companies doing your arcade games. Because you have, like, the idea, like, the blocks fall off, and they're doing that yell, the wah! And you're like, well, other games, like, yeah, the blocks will just fall. But it's like, yeah, no, or they'll do that boing thing there. But yeah, it's like, Midway is like, no, we're gonna make the blocks scream. Why not? And it really made them stand out. And I guess in that case, like, even though I never played this in the arcade specifically, it's something that it got enough of an attention to it when it dropped, or when it dropped in arcades anyway, and home that, yeah, people have an attachment to it, or they played collections like this that have it, of which, I guess of the other collections I'm aware of, I think there was one on the PlayStation that I think it was the Arcade Fun Pack, I believe, and then there was also, I think the Midway Arcade Origins on the 360 and the PlayStation 3 has this, I think. But don't quote me on that, because I do not own that. And I think I probably should fix that, only because there's some elements of the games that are in it, which are sometimes in this, that I'm curious about, particularly with the controls. We'll get to that when we do Tapper. Apparently there's a controversy with the name Klax. I guess what in particular? Did it sound like something else, something licensed? Because I'm not necessarily sure to what that is, but that's the other benefit of this program, which is okay. Yeah, you're right on the diagonals, because I'm getting nervous for that, and I'm going to get everything filled up, and everything's going to die. Unless... Okay, no, we're done. Alright, I'll try one more time. Or hit... Okay, X. But I guess, what was that controversy? Because, I mean, in that case, as I've mentioned this before, all of you in the chat, Lekverse, anyone else as well, you're adding to this by adding some of this information, because I'm going to be honest with you on this one. This is not going to be the case with the game we're doing next week, or games we're doing next week, but I'm kind of coming to this one a little blind, in the sense that I did prepare as far as notes and things. I played the games in this before, but I haven't played everything. So, some of the factoids I might be saying about these games either are wrong, or I don't have much of a familiarity of what they are to give enough. But, at the very least, I can go into my experience with some of this stuff, particularly this game, where it was this collection, and I had a lot of fun playing it as a unique puzzle game. And I guess a puzzle game for arcades, because you really, I guess, didn't really think too much about that. It sounded like crack, like the drug. Okay, which, that's an interesting case, and that'll be interesting when we do the Midway Arcade Treasures 2, because on that one was Narc, which is a game from Midway as well, where you're shooting drug dealers. And then they did a remake of that in 2005, I believe it was, which they dropped at a budget price when it released, and they put a lot of, I guess, big star power into it. They had Michael Madsen from Reservoir Dogs, and I think he was in the Walking Dead Season 2 game, to do voiceovers on the characters. They're kind of pulling from Grand Theft Auto a bit on that one. But yeah, you've got a point, I guess, as far as the thought of, like, well, video gaming being seen as kids stuff to a degree in the 90s, and I guess Midway, we'll get into that with the Arcade Treasures 2, and when we do the fighting showcase at the end of the year with, like, Mortal Kombat, of which Mortal Kombat's not on this collection. It's on... Okay, that's a weird thing. The Midway Arcade Treasures 2 has the second and third game. The first one isn't on it because Midway wanted to put the original as a special into the, like, pre-order edition of Mortal Kombat Deception. And I was like, wait a second, why is that? But then they released Midway Arcade Treasures Extended Play, which was a PSP game that had the first Mortal Kombat in it. And outside of that, they wouldn't release that again until the Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection, which is how we're going to be using... Well, we're going to be using that when we do the fighting showcase, which we will show off all three of those Mortal Kombats that way. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be a November thing. But I guess in the meantime, here's another kind of gaming smorgasbord. And I do like these episodes, I gotta be honest. When I've been going back as far as some of the episodes I've done, I've always liked that idea of, like, playing games just as a rapid-fire case. You know, I'll try one more time, and then we'll go on to another game. Alright, so, okay, I gotta pay attention to the diagonals, you're right. So I get what you're saying as far as having to do diagonals. It's like, okay, you gotta set everything up, you need to make it so that it's, oh, yo, going in the side, and also not, you know, going in that direction, so I'll be blocked. This is the last port of Klax that came out. Okay, so it was not in the Midway Arcade Origins collection. I remember... See, it's funny. When that came out, I did have the system to play it, but there were certain things that were on it, or there were certain things that were on it that aren't on this, but there were also games that were on this that weren't on that. And I was like, okay, I want to buy something as far as Midway collection, so I went to my retro game store, and they had this. I said, I'm getting this, and part of it was also because of Paperboy. We'll get into that one as we go along, but I think because that wasn't there, and maybe it's like licensing things, and feasibly with Klax, I guess, maybe. Well, I mean, that kind of made the decision that way. So it's sometimes interesting how that can inform a purchasing decision. I guess the thought of, you know... Okay, there we go, got a chain. Alright, so that's all good. Alright, let's do another one. So, this is a point wave. Alright, I probably should have mentioned, I guess you're going in waves of certain things, clearing in specific patterns, or getting points. Or, you know, dropping the blocks. Or dropping the Klaxes, as it is. And this is about the crack thing, I didn't necessarily know that. But again, it says that more you know, and sharing experiences. And sharing experiences with, I guess, games, whatever they might be. In which case, I guess then... Keep hitting me with any memories you might have of Midway or other interesting elements that you might have. Wizard of War was a weird one. Yeah, that's in the Arcade Treasures 2, I believe. I don't think I've actually ever played that. So actually, when I get that Midway Arcade Treasures 2, which, because I don't own it yet, I'll get it. It's cheap enough. When I play that, I think that's going to be the first time I'm ever going to play it. And I think there's some games in here that either I haven't played or I haven't played much. I guess there's something to be said about, as you mentioned, the weirdness of some of this stuff. Particularly how Midway was trying to position themselves. Alright, so I can... Oh, right, because when you stack them in multiple blocks, the one that's on the top will drop down first. Feasibly. So, okay. There we go. That's how I'm supposed to be playing this. Alright, well, I got game over. Alright, I think I've basically covered what we're going to cover on this one for the time being. I'm going to run out to game over before we go anywhere else. Alright, I've made the Klax Hall of Fame and your initials. Alright, so that's the other appeal of the arcade games, which is put in your initials. You know what? Let's put in... SuperOldGameSaturday is not going to fit. Even SOGs is not going to fit, so we'll just be a singular SOG tonight at number 6. And a high score of the day. So there we go. Alright, so it's the 90s. It's time for Klax. I gotta hit... Alright, I gotta hit either start or select to pull up the menu and go back to it. Actually, you know what? Before we go on to that, let me pull out the history on Klax. Because I guess what I may as well do when we redo a game or pull a game out for this, show the arcade cabinet. We may as well. Or interviews of which, damn, there are a lot on the Klax game. You know what? Let me see. You know what? You were mentioning, like, first, the idea of, like, the name. Let's take a look at this clip. Hopefully they won't have concerns about copywriting, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
Klax. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack was the original idea for the sound of the tiles coming down, so we just shortened it from that.
It was funny, when the game went to Japan, they were concerned at the time because the drug thing was just happening and something called crack had just come out. And they were real confused when we sent them this game called Klax because they were concerned that it was crack that we were saying. So that little interesting anecdote there, marketing problem they had. And so we had to make sure we definitely said, you know, winners don't do drugs or something in there for the Japanese market. It was.
This is the same people that brought us Pokemon?
Yes, Pokemon. There's cracks.
So there you go. All right, straight from the horse's mouth as far as the developer saying, you're right, Electverse, there you go. I mean, I didn't know, and I'll say this, I haven't necessarily watched all of the videos for this, and as you're seeing on the videos, it's kind of wonky as far as, like, the quality. I mean, these are better ones, admittingly, but I think they initially did these, I believe, for the PlayStation collections, or a few of them, and they kind of kept them the same. But they still have a bunch of them, although not every game has trivia. See, it's funny, we found the trivia in the interviews, not in the trivia section, and not even in the gallery, so yeah, we're not even getting a shot of the arcade cabinet, but... Alright, with that, I'm going to go into... here's one thing, I will say this about this collection. It is a nice collection, but it's sometimes hard to get a sense of, like, which games am I hitting here. Okay, that's Smash TV, because they use the little icons. There's Toobin, there is... I'm looking for Robotron, because what I want to do is... There's Super Sprint. Oh, here's Robotron. The reason I want to do Robotron now is because I'm then going to do its sequel, Blaster. So let's start with Robotron. This is going back to 1981, I believe. Alright, 1982. It's developed by Eugene Jarvis and Larry Delmar. And Yeah, this is kind of one of the early pioneers of dual analog control. We mentioned this when we played Katamari Damacy. In fact, like first I believe it was you who brought this up, saying analog control can sometimes be a weird case. In the case of this game, not so much, so you said. So here we are, we're playing the Robotron 2084 game, where you're, little Robotron man walking around shooting the grunts. Developed by, or presented by Williams Electronics. So that was the other arm of Midway at the time. Or Midway, Atari, Vindicators, which I believe was the company that Jarvis was involved with, or he had. I think he had like 3 games connected to that. Let's take a look at the story here. Inspired with never-ending quest for progress, 2084, man perfects the Robotrons. Robot species so advanced that man is inferior to his own creation. Guided by an infallible logic, the Robotrons conclude that the human race is inefficient and therefore must be destroyed. Ooh, wow, we're getting a little dark here. But we're the last hope of mankind then, in that case. And due to genetic engineering errors, we possess superhuman powers. So our mission is to stop the Robotrons, save the last human family, which is right over there. There's Mommy and Daddy standing by. There's Mikey, and there is, I guess, other people. Force of Ground Moving Unit Network Terminator Grunt Robotrons to destroy you. Yeah, here's the weird thing. I'm going to tell you, if it sounds like I'm kind of, the Hulk dudes are indestructible. It seems like I'm struggling through some of the text on this. I'm using composite cable to connect this, so I don't have, elements of the connection going out or the stream going out. I have it on an HDTV. It looks really weird to look at it this way. Kind of hard to read. So, yeah, you'll have to forgive me as far as that. You know what? We've seen enough of the story. Let's get into this as she, gets, turned into something. All right, so you walk around with the left analog stick. Use the right analog stick to point out and shoot. Yeah, and that, let's go back to the Katamari Damacy thing as far as the dual analog control. Okay, yeah, we destroy all the grunts on screen and you go to the next level. Yeah, this is very simple as far as that because you're basically moving around and shooting, but it is something that is a lot of fun and still has a lot of depth to it still. And it's a game that, this is not the last time we're going to be seeing that dual analog element going tonight. Okay, there's people. I gotta walk over the people. But yeah, there are a lot of other games that took from this, not just for Midway, because I know that actually when the Xbox 360 came out, Geometry Wars came around. Or was, okay, there was a Geometry Wars bundled into Project Gotham Racing 2, because it was Bizarre Creations who made that. And for the Xbox Live Arcade, for the 360, they said, okay, here's this Geometry Wars game. You're going around just shooting dual analog setup just like this game. And a lot of people said it was the best game at the system's launch, which is saying something, given some of the things that were out for it. But yeah, it shows the power that a game like this had. And okay, I'm already a Robotron hero or a Robotron dead hero. So let's go back and we'll do the Super Old Game Saturday element. Or hit X. Okay, no, it's square on this case to do the entry. Okay, that's kind of weird. Okay, is it X? Okay, now it's triangle. So wait, the button's changing? Okay. Oh, SOS, not SOG, I guess. So we're sending out an SOS. Alright, yeah, I'll say this. I've not necessarily played Robotron for as long as other people, so I'm not necessarily great at this game. And it is a little different than some other things, because, yeah, you're shooting out in 8 directions. It is analog, but you're seeing that little bit of a delay. You're not shooting in between, which makes sense for this kind of game, feasibly. But it is something you do have to get used to. It's like, yeah, so you have to turn the analog stick a bit to, to get the grunts going. Actually, this is the only Robotron game I've played, because there's other takes on this that were made. There was the Robotron X that came on the PlayStation, and they did a Nintendo 64 port of that. And I think there was something else. Chat, let me know if that's the case, and any memories you have of Robotron or the games like this. But yeah, I only played this one, so this is where my familiarity is. But it is fun, it's futuristic, and it has those really nice, trippy transitions. You're getting the colors going in. So yeah, the colors, kids. Oh! And even when you're flashing, hearing those nice which is the nice appeal. And as they're mentioning, I think it showed in one of the Klax videos, the idea that, oh yeah, there's no music, but it kind of fits to the idea of, yeah, you're alone in space, you gotta save the family, you gotta destroy the grunts, not destroy those because they don't go. I guess also there's the circles where the enemies come out of. I guess these are, well, the family members, but I guess, yeah, a lot of the mothers here, and those brain creatures, but I'm already dead. Oh, it's fire. Oh, okay, fire up. So, I'm not gonna air anything, because, actually, no, I think I realized something. Because let me try this again. Oh, right, because they button controls. That's what it is, because you can feasibly not use the right analog stick. Just use the triangle, square, X, and circle buttons to shoot. I guess that would be how you would be doing that if you played the Robotron X on the PlayStation or played the Robotron 64 game. Although Robotron 64 actually had an interesting option to it from what I've read, which is you can actually plug in 2 controllers and dual analog that game. So, yeah, there were some games on the Nintendo 64 that did that, including GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, that gave you an option for dual analog with 2 controllers. But yeah, it was definitely kind of a weird case. Although in this one, it kind of made more sense because you're using one to shoot and one to move around. Whereas with GoldenEye Perfect Dark, if you set that option up, you still have to press buttons around it, along with moving and aiming. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of grunts here. Alright, yeah, the circle, so it is like Geometry Wars, or Geometry Wars is like this, in that you're going around, you have to get rid of those circle points that are where the enemies are going to come out. While saving the family, and if they get touched, or, yeah, if they get touched by the robots, you're done. But those things come out, and yeah, again, I'm not good at this game, can you tell? But I'll try one more time. Alright, yeah, I probably should have taken a drink of water right there, but it's the first level, so you should be set. Yeah, this is definitely an appeal as far as arcade gaming, as far as, you know, getting into this, just this quick twitch action, but something you can still feasibly play for a long time. Especially with collections like this, and when this came out, this was kind of the time when we were getting tons of these arcade collections coming out, and it was a treasure trove. I'm just going to tell you that. I just love the idea of a bunch of games either I didn't play, or games that you didn't necessarily have access to, because I think there's one game on here that's unreleased, or it was very limited as far as how its release was. To be able to have access to these things in a more modern context, and all together for a budget price, because this was a $20 game when it came out. So you get 24 games for the price of one on this for 20. Okay, fine, it's not even for the price of one, it's a budget game with all these extra games on it, and also all those extra features. So it's quite nice. And I like that that's still happening today, although I guess as far as the Midway stuff, I mean, you get some of that now, because Warner Brothers owns Midway. But maybe not as much as we did before. But feasibly, there's like a lot more that's going to be coming from this one. Yeah, we'll try one more time, and then we'll go on to its sequel, or its sort of sequel. And that's the benefit also of doing a showcase like this, because like, oh yeah, we'll jump to a couple games, get a nice variety, good variety of genres too. And shows, I think, the idea that when it came to a lot of the arcade stuff that Midway was doing, and a lot of companies had to do this anyway, but Midway in particular, they're really looking through and seeing, okay, here's some weird stuff we got. They kind of had to come with great ideas to stand out, because you went into an arcade, you still go into where they have them, or if you have like a retro place, you go for that. There are a lot of games, so how do you get people to choose to play yours? And sometimes you have to stand out with either your game mechanics or your milieu, or maybe a combination of both. Or controversies, is the case of Mortal Kombat. And I guess feasibly one game on this collection a little. We'll get into that later. Oh, okay, fine. One game I'm thinking later, but then also apparently with Klax. So the more you know, definitely on that. All right, so there is Robotron. We're going to go to its sequel, sort of. It's right here. This is Blaster. Gene Jarvis and Larry DeMar made this too the next year. This was 1983 when this came out. It's kind of a sequel, but apparently not completely. Actually, you know what? Before I start this, I'm going to go back out, because there's something I forgot to do. Hit the circle button, go into options, controls. Because you can adjust the controls in these games, although some of the controls are really wonky, so you sometimes want to change that. Alright, so X is blast, circle is thrust. You know what, I'm going to put that on square. Myself, directional buttons are on. You can turn them off, just use the analog stick, or use both feasibly. Okay, so that's good. I'll just set options of number of players, you have 1 or 2 players. You can support up to 4 for the games that have 4 player, and we'll get into some of those as we go along. Auto-saving, I didn't put my memory card in because the only thing this saves as far as this is your settings and your high scores. And not that I don't care about high scores, but just for the purpose of being able to start the stream, we're doing none as far as the memory card. Alright, so let's go back to Blaster and take a look at this. Because based on what I saw there of blast and thrust, I'm like, okay, this plays a lot differently. Alright, and you have a selection of levels you can go, or I guess creatures you can do, or things like that. We'll take a look at all that. Oh, it's a fight game! Alright, so Fly through the magic arches. Okay, wow, there we go. Now we're scrolling and going through. Actually, I'll say this. If I had... I don't know if... chat, let me know about this. Did the Midway Origins collection have this? Because if it did, and if I had that, we could have done this for the Sheer Showcase feasibly. Because the Xbox 360 version of Midway Origins does play on the Xbox One. So I could have shown it off that way, but yeah, it's fine we're showing it off now. And whoa, look how choppy, and look how, neon color this game is. Whoa. But it is very immersive as far as its first-person view. Actually, I don't know if I've actually ever played this game. Now I'm looking at it. And I said this is a sequel to Robotron. I mean, alright, it is in the sense there are some of the creatures, some of the grunts are in this, but whoa, yeah, this is nothing like it. But it does show the idea of, again, them trying to come up with, unique elements to get people playing. Alright. So yes, it is. Alright. I'll probably have to get that collection at some point. Actually, I guess chat then. Do you have that collection? And would you recommend it feasibly? And I guess my one question also is going to be with the controls. When we get to Tapper, I got a question. Oh shit, there's a flashlight. Okay, I didn't notice that. Oh, look, I don't necessarily know if people out there have, sensitivity to that. I don't technically myself, or personally myself, but just more as a courtesy than anything. I mean, it'll be when it goes on the YouTube site above anything else. I'll just mention that. And you sometimes get cases of how that is. But, yeah, I think we should be alright. I got beeping. Actually, alright, I forgot. Yeah, you can hit the okay, square button, in my case, do thrusters, and keep going around. Oh, now we have vampires in space. Alright. So again, the idea that they're thinking of some weird stuff for that. And I guess that's the case with Eugene Jarvis. Let's talk about Eugene Jarvis, why don't we? Because he was kind of known as the wild man of Midway, and he actually, I believe, still works in the industry. He has this company, Raw Thrills, that does a lot of arcade stuff. He did, like, the Fast and Furious games. He did the new Cruisin' game, Cruisin' Blast, or anyway, which I think they might be porting to Switch. I've heard, rumblings of that. But yeah, he kind of came up with these weird things. This one, Robotron, we're going to get into Smash TV in particular, and also all of those Cruisin' games, which I mentioned, the Blast one being the most recent, but the Cruisin' World, Exotica, and USA, which were not in any of the ports, or any of the collections. Even the GameCube version of the third one, which was all about the racing games. They didn't license with that to put them in, so if we're going to be doing Cruisin' stuff, we're pulling the Nintendo 64 out, because I have all three for that. Okay, and there is technically one other one, because I mentioned that Fast and the Furious arcade game he did, or his company, Raw Thrills, did. They ported that to the Wii, but they didn't have the rights to Fast and the Furious. They didn't want to pay for it from Universal. So what they did is they said, oh, we have the Cruisin' name. Let's rebrand this. Let's take all the Fast and the Furious, logoing out of this thing. Let's call it just Cruisin'. And you have it going, and you're going through, and you have, like, the FMV elements of, the trophy girls saying, ready, set, go. Or saying, like, ooh, the LA ghetto. And it's like this wonderful, cheesily sexual element of it. And it is kind of, and the idea that all those games were rated E for everyone on the console. So, like, yeah, they were able to get some of those things going on those systems. No, I do not own the collection anymore. Okay. At some point, I do want to get it because I've got questions on some stuff with the controls, and I'll get into that later. Alright, so 15 million light years away. Alright, so I'm a Master Blaster. Not a Blaster Master, and not a Math Blaster either. So yeah, we got a lot of other things. Actually, I could feasibly show off, actually both of those games, to some degree. Alright, so let's see, super old game. So I was like, war games, let's do another run of this. Because I guess what I probably should have also done is taken a look at... Oh, actually, no, I just was doing everything for this. So I was going in order. But yeah, this is a nice one. And I do like the first-person element. And I like how, neon color it is. And it is surprisingly smooth. Because sometimes you don't always get that with stuff like this. And understandably so. They're working on limited tech. But yeah, I like how this is working. And it controls well as far as how this operates. And we're not going to always get that with this collection because of how you have a lot of things you need to manage. I mean, certain elements I may think might be different as far as the different consoles. In fact, I guess to this, chat, if you played the Midway Treasures 1, this one, did you play this on PlayStation 2, or did you play it on the GameCube or Xbox, or feasibly that PC version that came out? Or even the PSP one? Let me know, because I'm curious if you think the difference in controller is going to have an impact. That's kind of why I bought this on PS2, because I had an option to buy it on other things. I could have bought it on GameCube. I actually couldn't have bought it on Xbox at the time, because my original Xbox broke, and the Xbox version does not play on an Xbox 360, so I had to go GameCube or PS2. I went PS2 because of the controller, for the case of this. But then for the third one, I went Xbox, because I liked that controller for it. But then I bought the GameCube version because of elements with the frame rate running better on that system. Fun fact, Master Blaster was going to be the name. Okay, I mean, I can see that, you know? I mean, in some case, I mean, it's either or. I mean, it's either Master Blaster or Blaster. Oh. Alright, so we're saving, or I guess killing the spacemen who are coming out. But that's an interesting case to know the idea of changing names. And we're going to run into that a couple times with stuff for this. I played it on PlayStation 2 as well. Okay. Alright, thrust after runaway ships. Alright, so... Oh. I do like that attention to detail there of, like, the cracking of the windshield or the spaceship. Alright, let's try it one more time. And then we'll go on to the next game. Or a next game, I should say. Oh, I keep doing that. It actually does kind of remind me a little bit of stuff of Atari's. And I guess, from what I understand on some of this, I believe Midway was paying attention to Atari because they were big in arcades at the time. And Atari games did release a couple elements. But they chose not to go with the name. Yeah, I can get that. I mean, I guess maybe because they thought, well, Master Blaster, the idea of like, oh, it sounds silly perhaps. Or perhaps the idea of like, be concise to the point of, you know, blaster, you're blasting. So, maybe that way. Honestly, either way, I think either name would kind of make sense. But it's an interesting case to get the idea of how the naming conventions of games are, or also the idea of how they change during development, or during, like, how they want to market it. Oh, crap, I hit that arch. I do like the color. I'm going to say that right now. It does look very, as I mentioned, neon-like, but also very, you know, futuristic, which I think is the idea. All right, rescue spacemen. Actually, wait a minute. I don't... Okay, actually, I think I need to just touch the spacemen, not kill them. Oh, let's see. All right, so yeah, they just have to hit me. Or I have to let them hit me, and then I save them. Okay. Also avoiding all of those guys there. Actually, I guess the chat, that question, or like first to your question, do you think Master Blaster would have been a better name for this? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's the same name, technically. You're just adding Master on the front of the one. And this game is brought to you by the letter E, apparently. But, I mean, again, it could go either way, I would think. I mean, I'm not that familiar with this game, honestly, to be able to say, like, which is better. But, I mean, it's just one word, so feasibly. But it is interesting to think about what could have been. Alright, so I guess the letter E killed me. Alright, so that's game over. I think we're going to hit the next game after I put, well, no initials in. But yeah, the high score there is, actually, I probably got that, maybe. Because of a pinball game named Master Blaster. Okay, so either they didn't want to create confusion with that one, or perhaps more likely, we're going to run this in a couple cases, they didn't want, or they're going to get into a copyright concern. In fact, we'll get into that in a second with the two, Defender games. We're going to do some skateboarding now. This is 720. This came out in 1986 as a very early game that's doing skateboarding. So way before Tony Hawk's Pro Skater came around and revolutionized things, this released. And apparently it's taking a long time to load this game. Oh, you always get that dung, which I always loved of those late, you know, or the era, or the games of this era coming out of Atari games for Midway, which this is one of them. It's kind of a bit of an open world case as far as skating around and doing stuff. Okay, and also they're basically giving you the warning of don't do this in real life unless you've got protective gear and all that stuff. Actually, that's the interesting thing. They were mentioning in the one video we looked at on Klax that they always have arcade machines that say, you know, the winners don't do drugs concept. I don't think any of the games in this are new enough that they had that instituted. I think it will be the Midway Arcade Treasures 2 that will see that. Actually, it'll be Narc, which makes sense with that one in particular. In fact, alright, here are the people who made the game. Dave Ralston, John Solowitz, and you'll see on the YouTube site when we put this up all the names of the people there. But yeah, I am not good at this game, I'm going to tell you that. And honestly, it hasn't aged that great. And also elements of the controls, because you have to use X, in this case, to do the kick, and circle is the jump button. You can adjust if you want. I do like the freedom of this game, because I can kind of go around. Just kind of do stuff, do tricks, do jumps. Pick up money that's lying in the street, or try to, or rotate around. Actually, one thing I'm also going to look at when we go back is I think they do have the picture of the arcade machine on this one. I'm trying to remember, did this use a trackball for controls? There's one game we're going to get into that does. Can we go in here? Yes, we can. Alright, so we're going to do some of the challenges. We're going to do the downhill part. Beat the timer, win the medal. Oh, we also have the isometric element, which you do need to get used to. Oh, shit! On all that, you know, grungy music. And to think this was kind of early for, you know, skateboarding culture as far as this game being around. But yeah, I guess it was kind of doing it elements of justice. This, and I guess also Skate or Die, which was Konami's game. Alright, I made it down and did decently. Okay, color me surprised, because I am not good at this game, because the controls are very wonky. But basically you get points and you get medals to, you know, do well, or see, you know, the strongman guys there and just knock them down. I guess you could do that. But we're also on a timer. Yeah, that's the other thing, and we're going to see that when the timer comes down, the skate or die. Yeah, and, yeah, the bees come around, and, no, not the bees, so we gotta be careful there. Or just get hit by a car. I mean, I could have feasibly jumped over it. I'll try that next time we see something. Actually, we'll get into that skate or die case, in a few seconds, because I think I'm going to run into it. Or hit the water, okay, almost. Oh, there you go. There they go. They're also, like, doing, luge skating in the street. Alright, we're going to skate for this purpose. Alright, so this is Jump Park. Score 1,200 points or better to win medal. Or go off the other side. Alright. Penalty for not starting. Oh, or hit the water. Alright, so I'll have to try it on the next one. Actually do the jump right. There we go. Alright, made it. So I just have to time it as I go along. I do like the grungy music, and it kind of... Oh, I failed. Then again, I fell off at the beginning, so fair enough. I mean, at least you're not dying when you do that. I guess that's the interesting thing about this game as far as an arcade game. It is like an open world concept as you're going around. It's basically just, you know, go do stuff and not get stung by the bees when time runs out.
Hey, good choice, kid. You're gonna love it.
Alright, so I got some hot pads. I'm not sure what that does, but it does give you some nice skate pads that are flashing. Actually, you know what? I gotta jump that car. At some point, let's try doing that. Oh! Okay, I can't do skitching on the back of it. Grabbing the back. Alright, no, okay, it's going the wrong direction, but here come the bees. Actually, can I outskate the bees? Let's see. Oh, but they caught up to me. Alright, so I have credits. I can hit kick to continue, which is... wait, no. Kick is on circle. Alright, so yeah, he's on the ground with the illusion stuff. Alright, there we go. There's the car. I want to jump the car, at least. I'm kind of adamant to do this. Or, okay, get hit by that one. Yeah, because we want to be a rebel here. Oh, I missed it. I mean, I might die just getting hit by this thing. Or trying to jump on it, but yeah, I'm trying and I'm missing. But I keep getting stung, so let's just keep going. Alright, so let's see. What have I not shown off, or what have I not done? Actually, I guess in this case, you're just kind of running, or skating around and jumping, from what it looks like. I mean, you don't have, well... Alright, it looks like you're kind of doing different things based on the direction of the analogs you're pulling. Okay, it's Slalom Park. Let's go there. Oh, I got hit by the car again. But I do like how open this is, and also the other thing, you hit this, see the map, and you can go in there to get a sense of where you need to go. Worst game ever, in my opinion. Wow, okay. I mean, look, this is not a very good game. Or, okay, it hasn't aged well. I'll say that on this game. That being said, I mean, Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that I don't see it. Because the way the turning goes in this, because I'm using the analog stick to play this one, but you're kind of on a pivot, honestly. And it seems like, okay, I'm missing stuff in ways I wouldn't like to. And I don't know, necessarily, if that's because of this collection, or if it's because of how the arcade game is designed. Because I never played this in the arcade. Have you? Or chat and Lectverse, have you played this? Because if you have, is that the idea, or how much of that is this collection? Because we're going to get into some stuff with that, with, I guess, how is a collection handling certain things? Because this ports everything very nicely as far as everything going on, but the controls could sometimes be wonky, especially when it gets to Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter's going to be an interesting case with that, with the controls. I'm going to definitely want to try that on. Okay, the park's closed because I did that. Ow. I mean, I guess I could see the nostalgic appeal of this game, but more for the skating thing. Whereas I get the sense a lot of people liked Skate or Die, going into that from NES a bit more. But again, I think it's one of those games that really hasn't aged that great. You haven't played the arcade version. Honestly, I rarely saw the arcade version anywhere. Alright, that's game over. Okay, so actually, I guess I had lives, feasibly. And I got nice little stamps, feasibly. You know what, we'll try it one more time. Actually, I'm in the training level. I haven't necessarily... Oh, I went to the experience level. I think. So let's try the normal level, feasibly. Alright. Though it looks a lot like the other one. Well, let's try the Rampart. But let's at least do all the parks, at least. Because, honestly, I can't think of another time we're going to play this. And if we're going to do skateboarding stuff for this channel, I'm saying, like, how are we going to do Tony Hawk's Pro Skater with the licensed music element? And the answer is, well, we're going to do the Game Boy Advance version. Because it does not have licensed music, and it's really, really good. Alright, yeah, it is very wonky. We're trying to jump and do stuff in the half-pipe. But point is, we'll get better, you know, games going as far as the skating. But I guess skateboarding games had to start somewhere, feasibly. So, I mean, I'll give it that. It's fascinating to look back on, but yeah, this is not a game that's that great. And I don't know if I necessarily say it's the worst game in this collection. Electris, would you say it is? Or would you say there's worse in this? You could use better shoes, okay. I don't know what I'd necessarily say is the worst game in this collection or not. I mean, I'd probably be able to give you a better answer when we're done with everything, honestly, tonight. Because at that point, I'll have hit everything. And honestly, as I mentioned, I haven't played everything in this. Yeah, I can't even jump on the cars, which is very weird. Because I kind of like to do just the jump over that. Or just the idea of, you know, the blonde-haired woman there driving the convertible. And, alright, yeah, because I jumped it and I missed. So yeah, I guess you can't jump on it. I mean, maybe that's the thought, is that I'm so used to the... Oh, that was weird. What was that? Hurry to a park. Alright, we're at this park, the Slalom Park, which I did not do well on last time because of the way the controls work. Let's take another shot at it. Yeah, slaloming with these controls is really weird, and again, it's not easy. Alright, I still got bronze despite missing them. Alright, that's the C's Good Degrees thing from Mad Meister last week. Which, by the way, that is up on the YouTube site, and that was a weird one, because I had to do some last-minute edits on that, because I ran into trouble later on the stream. It went down, or it went down, and it kept going down, so I had to do some very weird cuts to it. You jump better with higher shoes. Yeah, I get you. Oh, or I fell into... What was that? I guess I fell into the... I guess what? That's like the grass plant? The grass planter thing? Yeah, I guess this is also a futuristic thing, because you have these guys on, like, the hover motorcycle things. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's so... You know what, I'm gonna let myself die. Specifically. Oh. Okay, maybe that's not... No, is that cash? Yeah, it is. Okay, it is. It's a doll. You know what? Yeah, I'm getting stung. Alright, we're not gonna continue feasibly. Alright. Experience level would let you see more parks. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not good at this game. Okay, since chat doesn't like this game, I don't like it much either, but it's not the worst thing ever, feasibly. But that's kind of damning with faint praise. One thing I'm going to do, though, since we're looking at this, let's go into history and see if we got a shot of the cabinet. Because I want to understand this as far as the way the controls went. Alright, so there's the cabinet. Alright, yeah, it is a little blurry. It looks like it is using an analog stick and buttons. So the PS2 pad is not too much of a, it's not too much of a stretch on this. Also, it's weird, though, they have to load the images here. Because I'm pressing down there, just holding. Alright, so... superior graphics, animation, more player involvement, realistic skateboarding action, lets players attempt daring maneuvers, skate where they want, okay. Contemporary cabinet design with new 25-inch higher resolution monitor, 8-inch stereo speakers to highlight the custom music score, sound effects, and speech. Add a coin feature, keeps you in action. Yeah, okay, so this is how they gave the, the arcade, our advertisement element of this game to kind of sell it. I'm just trying to zoom in again on the picture to see if I get a better shot of that cabinet. Yeah, it looks like it's an analog stick. So, yeah, it's not weird the way that plays. Okay, very unique. You know what, let's take a look at this. I'm just curious. Let's see, they say with the joystick.
On a circular basis that wouldn't return upright. So it just in a circle, which would enable you to do the 720. If you got your speed going right, hit a curve, you could flip in the air and do this, right? Yeah. Do the move.
Okay, so apparently then I'm playing this the wrong way. So apparently the analog stick for this game, or in the arcade as well, the joystick, you're basically supposed to rotate it, I guess, the way you would do a rotation for a 720 or some kind of a trick like that. So I'm playing this game the totally wrong way. So, yeah, that's fine. But we're going to skip that. We're going to something a little better. Okay, a lot better. This is Joust. This came out in 1982, and we just saw John Newcomer over there. Yeah, he made this game as well. And this is a pretty familiar one, a pretty famous one. Just this ostrich flying around, getting into fights with people, or jousts as it is. They're buzzard bait. If you ever played Balloon Fight, well, Balloon Fight took from this game, feasibly, except I got stabbed. Oh, but I'm getting stabbed more, so it's like, alright. So I guess it's not like Balloon Fight in the sense that I can just hit the guys and they'll be going. I think I have to... oh, no, I have to run into him. Okay, so it is literally like a joust. I have to literally run into him. Like that. There we go. And pick that up for point. There we go. So this is how we're playing the joust. You're literally jousting and, you know, stabbing them with your pike in particular. Which makes sense, given the name. Alright, one interesting thing about this game, I may as well go into this. In the late 2000s, when Midway was still around, they released a couple of the games that were on this as Xbox Live Arcade releases, and I think a couple were even on PlayStation 3. They released this one, and they released others as well. And what happened was, when they went out of business, Warner Brothers got ownership of all their stuff, but they never re-released those other versions. But they re-released this one. So this is the only one that happened with. So I don't understand why that was. I think same for it on... okay, no, not same on PS3, because they made the 360 one backwards compatible for the Xbox One, and then they basically resold it again, feasibly. Alright, so... just joust them and collect the survival points in waves. Over, I guess, the fiery pits of hell, as it looks like, with the fire down there. Oh, actually, it looks like the platforms are kind of coming out. Yeah, simple but fun. And a very iconic one as far as Midway is concerned. Alright, thy game is over. Nice, Jesse. I guess it was an interesting one if you had to go to Renaissance Festival or something specifically. So that's just what, although in that case you don't have ostriches flying. So let's get this ready to go. S-O-G. Oh yeah, you have that, kind of, almost PC speaker-like sound. Would you do like that? And when I can figure the PC situation out as far as streaming stuff for that, we're going to get a lot of PC speaker elements going. But I'll have to look into that. I'll sit down in a couple weeks, probably, to find out what I can do. Oof, 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 yeah. Indeed, going this way. But some game, I guess going to the PC speaker element, some games definitely do that better than others, whereas other ones, it can be piercing as all hell. And I guess this is an arcade game, so it's a little different, but this was much earlier than some of the other ones. Well, some of the other ones, anyway. It does sound good as far as some of its effect, even like the, flapping the wings. Like, that was weird, because I hit him from behind and it didn't take. But, I mean, maybe I'm not fighting a fair fight, so that might be part of what it is, too. Or I'm not going fast enough. To be honest, I'm not necessarily an expert on Joust, I'm not going to lie. I more know of what I've heard of it, and I played it a couple times. So in all honesty, this is probably the most I've ever played it in my life. But, I mean, hey, I need to have a good reason to do that, and this is definitely one of them. Yeah. It looks like I went through that. Okay, I'm going to be curious to look back at the playback on that one, because it looked like I went through that platform there. Or I went through that little gap right here. Oh, did I get him? No, I didn't. Oh, whoa, what's that? Whatever, we got him. Oh, and I got the bird as well. Alright, so, we took care of him. I got the survival points. Or, got no survival points on top of everything else. Okay, so it's based on time. Alright, because the fire is... Alright, I fell in the fire, but yeah, the fire is burning the platform. Okay, so that's a nice touch, but I'm dead. The definition of a button masher. Yeah, I would say so, and it's really only one button. It's basically just hitting, in this case, X, or whatever you set it to, and just flying into stuff. Yeah, let's try it one more time, then. We'll find out what its sequel's like, because the sequel's on this, too. We'll do that one next, feasibly. But yeah, it is an interesting case of that. And I guess, when you think about it, I guess you could say a lot of our games in the arcades at the time were doing that. Although, it would differ based on what kind of a game it was. I guess in this case, you have to flap your wings all the time. So in that case, yeah, you're definitely doing that. Especially because you don't necessarily fly really high or fast unless you really tap it. Oh, but I'm getting myself killed. Yeah, okay, I guess you also have to be at the right angle or level of the other jousting people. So boom, there, down they go. Or just clash into them that way. Oh, did I get him? Actually, I get... Oh, alright, it'll fly away. Oh, I see. The lava's coming up with each stage, or at least that one. Alright, game over. Alright, I think with that, we're going to take a look at the sequel. Because we do have that on the docket. But that game is over with this one, and we're going to take a look at Joust 2, which is right here. Actually, before we do that, we also go into the history, just to check a couple things. More than anything, I kind of just want to look at the cabinet design above anything else when they give it to you. Oh, yeah, we got a big element. The inside story on the game. Even back then, they took a lot of months to make. They freed the gamer their whole existence on the success or failure of such a project. Yeah, fitting as far as Midway, and Midway kind of going downwards. Kids want a new surprise every time they enter an arcade. And if you don't give it to them, some other company will. The atmosphere in 1982 when Williams gambled on a fighting game with no fire button, that being this one. Yeah, giant newcomer, young ex-toy designer. Knew what they could get with the yeah, there we go. While skeptics when it began, biggest concern is the absence of firing. Yeah, I mean, that's a weird case. Few Williams expected to do well doing that and thought it would be a flat button. Okay. By turning to high-content strategy, gain stretch limits of the machine's memory. Now with the gameplay with the artwork, too, within the first interview clip. Utilize the same color raster scan monitor and multi-board electronic system Williams pioneered with Defender, and we'll get to Defender and both of its, or its sequel as well. Show the feature didn't belong in the X, Y, or Vector elements Mario used in games like Tempest and Asteroids. Jan Hendricks put tremendous effort to push the graphics beyond what had been done before in the same system, dissolving realistic-looking ostriches and buzzards that would also move. Yeah, I mean, I could say that, for sure. The operators gave it a frosty reception initially, despite the fact it had the capability of receiving 2 cores to 2 players at the same time. So only 2 other games had done, which were Space War and Wizard of War, as you mentioned. The negative buzz didn't bother newcomer, like playing the underdog. Well, yeah, and Midway definitely did that, going back to that. They reached the flat button and turned it into a breakout hit, one that went on to ship more than 26,000 units. The combination of its organic character, strategic play, and sort of less violent action earned it a broad base of fan spin, both young and old, and men and women. Now I'll talk about the imperfections about it, about certain elements. Okay. Oh, I guess a bug in this. So, I'll take a look at this and we'll go to the next one. Nico Aureli admits why they never had time to fix the belly flop bug, which allows player to repeatedly kill the invincible pterodactyl remaining stationary on a cloud after it was created and after the last bit of pixel adjustments. First machines shipped with this, but then they somehow replaced with Robs that fixed it. Okay. And that's the other thing about this collection. You get a lot of interesting behind-the-scenes elements of the games, concept art, Joust pinball. Okay. All right, so there's the cabinet. Let's take a look at that. All right. You can definitely tell this is the 1980s with the, the red neon socks of the girl playing the game here. But yeah, she's looking like she's having fun with it. And, yeah, I had fun playing it as well. Let's take a look at that. Wait. Oh, okay. Though that is the cabinet. So, never mind. All right, that's the cell sheet and the artwork. All right, so we're good with this. Well, all right, let's take a look at its sequel then. This is Joust 2. It came out in 1986. At the subtitle of Survival of the Fittest, but from what I understand, this one did not set the world on fire the way that the first one did. So in that case, it probably made sense. I went and looked at the history. Alright, Sir Buzzard Blaster. So alright, so we played the first one. So what was its sequel like? Alright, so I get a skill level, but... Okay, flap to select, press transform to enter. Okay, so hit X for flap. Yeah, we'll be able to always surf to start. Alright, so we have voice. Oh, we can do a transformation. Okay, that's interesting. So you become a Pegasus and you get heavier, but yeah, you still go down just as easily if you're not prepared. Though it looks like it's kind of like Balloon Fight in the sense that now you can hit the ostriches with the top and go. But alright, so I transform because I hit harder and can take hits better as the Pegasus, but I want to stay the ostrich if I want to fly higher quicker. Alright, so that's interesting. Oh yeah, this definitely then is like a button mashing case. Alright, yeah, I just walked right into him there. I do like the digitized element of the horse. That is a nice touch. Alright, come on, come on. Yeah, I'll always just play the same as the first one, except for that transforming mechanic. Oh, okay, when they bust out, they become actual jousters, and alright, the game is over again. Oh, no, keep doing that. Alright, so we got it. So let's see what's next. Alright, so getting a little more dynamic with the transitions. That and you have separate maps. So this is, I guess, the new and improved Joust, but as I mentioned, apparently people didn't play this one to the degree that they did in 1982 with the original. And I'm wondering if maybe the reason for that was because the landscape of gaming was changing back then with the NES dropping around. I mean, this did, or actually, this one I don't, no, Joust 1 got ported all over the place. This, I don't believe did. I think it was only this collection initially, or there might have been some of the places. Alright, so I could trample them. So you change it to the Pegasus so you could trample the guys when they come to the eggs. So again, Joust, but with more elements to keep in mind, and unique places to play on. Oh, but still lava. Alright, but even the Pegasus is not invincible. Oh yeah, and the digitized speech. But yeah, the game is over again. Let's try one more time. Honestly, it's funny. I kind of just want to be the Pegasus the whole time, but I know that if I do that, I'm not going to be able to fly as well or as fast. Eh. Also, as you're falling, that creates a little more of a problem. Because if I don't... Yeah, in that case, I have to... Yeah, well, I guess you're right. The idea of this being a button masher, but you have to really rapidly hit it if you're the Pegasus, because otherwise you fall in the lava and dying. Or getting hit by something and dying. I always want to get rid of those red things if I can, but I don't know if I can destroy them. No! Alright, so yeah, I fell in the lava. Alright, so game over. Alright, I think that kind of made the point that way, but I do want to also look at the history just to see about the machine and see if there's any interesting factoids to look at. See, it's funny, I did a lot of research on this game earlier, but then I thought, well, wait a minute, looking at this, I don't know, I'm not going to say wasting my time, but just thinking about what's going on here. Okay, the coveted piece range Joust Meister, we have the rare and ill-fated, huh? 1985 decided to do a sequel. Their technology. You know, they said, what was that? That was interview clip 1. Let's take a look at that. Told you. Yeah, absolutely. I was definitely not doubting that. Alright, so, alright, there's the cabinet. Same, basically, as the other one. Yeah, survival of the fittest. I guess not so much with this game. Oh, right, I forgot. Some of the games in here, they give you little quizzes. Like, why the game had a vertical monitor. Let's see. Yeah, that's not why. But it is, I could just keep answering until I get it right.
Joust came out with the vertical monitor because it was during a time period when dedicated videos were having a great deal of difficulty. So Joust 2 is supposed to be a kit to retrofit various games out in the field. At that time, most of the games in the field were vertical monitors, like Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, etc. It also seemed like the vertical screen would give the player more height so that they could fly and open up some new play possibilities. And for lack of any other reason, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, the way he puts that, it seems like they're considering that this is a flop of sorts. You know what? Let's watch this just to get an idea of what he's talking about. I'll be back in just a second.
Joust 2 is the trivia question of all time, I guess, was that there actually was a sequel. We tried to resurrect Joust in 1985. Didn't make many games, but this is at a time when very few video games were selling, and there wasn't much of a video department anymore, and he had met with some of management. We were trying to figure out, well, gee, let's try another game, and so we were considering resurrecting and doing a sequel of either Robotron or Joust, and they decided to let's give Joust a crack at it.
Okay, so basically from what it sounds like, so John Newcomer's telling us, they basically just were throwing darts at a wall to see, like, we want to sequelize something that was popular, which one are we going to do? Let's do this one. I mean, based on what I'm playing of this, I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's fine. I mean, I think they had a point, though, what he was saying, which was that at the time, yeah, not many people wanted to do stuff with games. I mean, Nintendo was bringing it back with the NES, but there was still the remnants of the 1983 video game crash. So the thought that, well, especially for arcades, and in all honesty, I'll say this. Unlike in Japan, in the United States, with the video game crash, that had a really strong effect on the arcade market, even with popular games that were around, where they weren't nearly as prominent after the crash, even when the NES was around, as they were way before it. I mean, with stuff like Pong and like Pac-Man and stuff like that, it was huge before 1983, and then it kind of went away. But in Japan, it was more consistent, and I guess here it kind of got popular in certain cases with certain games, like when Street Fighter 2 came around, when Mortal Kombat came around. And then when they kind of looked at it, companies like Midway and others saying, hey, let's get these massive deluxe cabinets to make it more like an event, more of a, I guess, an amusement. So that's why you got a lot of racing games with the steering wheels, or these massive, massive, massive cabinets of unique things like, I think like Alpine Racer from Namco, where you're doing like snowboarding, or Wave Runner I've mentioned from Sega, where you're on a big jet ski, or one that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to think of another time that makes sense to bring this up. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this one, Chad. Prop Cycle, which is a game from Namco, which is, it's kind of a bike flight game. They have like an actual exercise bike tied to it. You're basically doing pedaling, and they have like fans in the top of the cabinet that are blowing out air to you because you're basically flying around in the sky. It is quite a game. I remember my brother was a huge one into that game. Whenever we found it, we're like, we want to play this, and it was pretty awesome. But because of how, expansive a concept that was, we didn't get a home port. And no real way to totally replicate that. As opposed to stuff like this, where you kind of can do that with a controller. In fact, we're going to do that with this one. Oh, before I do that, let's take a look at... Okay, no, the controls are just moving. This is Bubbles. This came out in 1982. This was a perspective of making a non-violent game of sorts, kind of focusing on Pac-Man, from what I understand. And actually, I think the history section will probably back me up on this, potentially. But yeah, you're cleaning sink. So yeah, if you're coming to the show saying, like, oh, I have chores I have to do, and, you're kind of trying to get away from that, yeah, this is not going to help, make you forget. But, yeah, we got that bubble there, and we're cleaning the sink. We're getting the dirt off of it while avoiding the sponges, because we hit the sponges, we're going to be dead. And you also have to suck up the ants, but, yeah, you don't want to be hitting the spiders. Oh, yeah, those creepy things. Jesus Christ, I'm going to tell you, I put this game in the other day, and I was like, man, those spiders are really creepy. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit... Oh, yeah, that's creepy, because they'll just blow me up. Yeah, I'm not necessarily an arachnophobe, but still, it's like, yeah, it's weird. And you also pick up the witches, because you can pull the brooms out, and I think you can kind of knock back the... Okay, I keep getting hit by the spiders. You can knock back, actually, maybe the spiders, but also the sponges. When you get yourself big enough, you go in the center, you fill the sink with water, and you go on to the next one, or next area. So yeah, pretty much as simple as can be. Oh, there we go. Got the broom. I'll say this, though. It's... Okay, you also don't want to hit onto, like, those, I guess, razor blades. But I'm a Bubbles Pro. Okay, no, I'm not a Bubbles Pro, but I'm enough of one to get onto this leaderboard. Or, oh, it's right to enter letter. Okay. Right, because it's only an analog stick on this, from what I understand, in the arcade. Alright, so let's give it another shot and try to do a little better. Yeah, I get where the Pac-Man element comes from, because you're basically just trying to pick up the globs of dirt and just clean the sink, which is a weird case. I can't think of any other game that's done, sink cleaning. And I think you do hold your broom as you go on to the next sink. So let's see. Okay, no, you don't. Never mind. Although it's really weird to hit the sponges with the broom. And I don't think you'd hit the... whatever those are, this razor blade or whatever. Can we hit the... Okay, I was off with the spider. Yeah, let's go to the next sink. Yeah, not too much to say, really, about this one. But it is simple and easy to pick up and play. Oh, right, if you fall into the sink before you get the color going on that or pick up enough of the dirt, which I guess is just going into the sink anyway, then you're going to be in trouble. What? Oh, right, the red, I guess, is when the spiders come out. Alright, I'll try one more time. Or, okay, here's the attract... Alright, so explain this. So that's the cleaning lady, not the witch, necessarily, so I was wrong that way. So the brush, the sponge, we haven't seen the sponge yet. Okay, so you kill... Okay, they're not spiders, they're roaches. You kill them with the broom. Gotcha. Alright. This game counter is made of material that shrinks and eventually ejected and impaled a Donkey Kong game. Oh, Jesus. Wow, okay. I'd heard some stuff about the way they designed the cabinets, and I think the idea that certain methods of how they did it are more, I guess, pertinent to people who are collecting. Alright, if you collect all the dirt, I guess then, oh, the bubble's too small and you die. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely weird, and it goes to the idea of, I guess, how gaming was in the 80s, as far as that. Wow, that's definitely quite a story, for sure. Especially for a game that is not necessarily that well known. Honestly, I didn't know of it until I played this collection. Because of the benefit of a collection like this, you have the big stuff like Joust and Defender and Robotron, and some of the other games you're going to get into, but you also have stuff like this. Oh, yeah, the roaches. I want to at least broom the roaches, because I don't like this. I don't like, getting, having nothing going on with this. I mean, this game, I do kind of like this game as far as ways. I'm going backwards. You know what? We're all Z's now. It is simple, but it is kind of appealing, and yeah, I can't think of any other game where you're cleaning a sink. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, when it turns red, you gotta be careful because the roaches come out. Alright, but I gotta get the broom out because I want to try that thing with the cleaning lady. It's weird, I thought it was a witch, but yeah, it makes more sense as a cleaning lady, because, yeah, I'm cleaning a sink. Alright, there we go. Or... Okay, so I do something different, and it didn't stick it? Alright, let's try one more time. Alright, okay, here we go. So let's, get the roach. Okay, yeah, you killed the roach, alright. Alright, that felt good. But it is a little loose, how the movement works. And I don't know how much of that is this collection, or just the game itself. So you have to be a little careful. It's definitely simple as far as how it looks and how it plays. But it's unique. Yeah, alright. Yeah, unfortunately I got brushed to death. Alright, okay, I was able to bounce him back. Or... Yeah, is this a bonus game? It looks like there's nothing here, except for the cleaning ladies. Oh, I said it's going to give you the roaches right away. Yeah, you missed. That's the other thing I'll say about this one. You have to be very specific with how you aim the broom, or, yeah, the broom at the roaches. And if you don't hit it absolutely perfectly, you're going to die, which is not necessarily great. Alright, so we're good on this. I think we're going to go back, and I'm going to take a look at some of the history stuff just to see, and then go to the next game. I'm actually liking the way this game is going, as far as how we're playing it. And also just because of the fact, like, it's kind of a rapid situation, so there's a lot of variety of what we're going to see. Okay, so they want to come with a non-violent game. That I remember hearing. Were inspired by Pac-Man. Yeah, John Kotlarek. Kotlarek. If you're out there, sorry if I've mispronounced your name. Alright, he worked on many other games, along with Python Angelo, creating the artwork and the game scenario. Okay. Who helped on the sounds for Joust and Defender, as well as the synthesizer for Gorgar. Yeah, yeah, let's get into that as far as pinball stuff, because Williams was one of the arms of Midways, and they did a lot of pinball games, of which I don't have any, but I believe there's a collection. I think it's the Pinball Hall of Fame, the Williams collection, I believe, that has that. Gorgar might be on that. I don't know. I was looking for a reason to maybe pick something like that up, so that might be the case doing that. All right, the Greasies, all that stuff. All right, so here we go. So they tried to sell this by saying, lively cartoon animation, simplicity of control, novel theme, complete game adjustments, full bookkeeping diagnostic test. I guess because they want to make sure the arcade, is handling it right. Okay, so it came with a stand-up unit and the old tabletop elements, which you don't see as many of those anymore. Even if you go to MagFest or something, they'll bring like machines in. There are some things you'll see that are like the tabletop stuff, but not a lot. Although I've never seen this cabinet, and as you're saying, Lechfors, apparently the way they designed it made it like, oh, it might not be safe. Alright, so yeah, there's not much here as far as that. The gallery, the history, and all that. So let's see. Next up on the list, we did Klax, did the Joust games, I did Blaster. Yeah, let's do... Yeah, we'll do that in a second. We'll do Defender games, and then we'll do Marble Madness. Because I have a lot of familiarity with the Marble Madness game. I'll say that for sure. Although it's also one I don't know if I'm going to say I like playing it on this controller, to be honest. Alright, so X is Fire... versus Smart Bomb Hyperspace. You also get that noise as it blinks the press start button. Like, yeah, I don't know if I like that, but whatever. Alright, here is Defender. This came out in 1981. Eugene Jarvis and Larry DeMar made this. And they looked at Space Invaders by Taito, from what I understand, to make this. This is 1980. See, it's weird. And this is what I was looking up for dates on this thing. Or all these games in here. It was saying like, oh, it's 1981. But no, it kind of has the copyright of 1980. So it kind of goes back and forth. But there we go. Let's see. Alright, flying around, 2D flight shooter. Another one I could have done for the Shooter Showcase had I had the collection, but alas, I did not. But we're making up for lost time with that here. I think it fits better to show this off. And I think this is a unique case to do a classic compilation like this. Because, I mean, I've kind of done stuff with that. When I did the Shooter Showcase thing, we did look at one of the Konami collections, which had a bunch of things in it. But I just like this kind of rapid fire, and the idea of, and I'll go back to something we had going on last week, when people mentioned this to me, saying, alright, there's my hyperspace, there's that. They were saying the idea that they like the deep dive into gaming. Either the game that's being shown, okay, yes, the game is being shown, but other aspects of the industry. And I think in a lot of ways, this game's kind of a reflection of that, and, well, any classic compilation worth its salt, of which this definitely is one of them. It definitely has a lot of nice stuff as far as what the games are. But yeah, I'm not very good at Defender, but let's give it another shot. Alright, so you hit the square button, turn back and forth, because you can go any direction, and you basically pay attention to that radar at the top there to shoot the enemies. Alright, that's a smart bomb that clears the screen. I just used it in a way that I probably shouldn't have. Oh, I used the hyperspace, but I guess I got myself killed by doing that. I do like how the analog control works here, because basically as you're pushing the stick more, you go faster with the thrusters, almost like asteroids. This is a big hit at Midway. That's a game I know very well as far as knowing of it. Playing it, not as much, but it's one that kind of helped Midway make their name when you really think about it. And they also did do a remake of that. Actually, you know, I may as well get into this because I don't know... Okay, we've talked about it a little bit with Robotron, but the idea of when... I guess when some of these collections were coming out, there was also the desire of companies, including Midway, to do remakes of some of these games. They did do a remake of Defender, a 3D one. I think it was on the GameCube and the Xbox. I think it was on the PS2 as well. There was something totally different, almost like a space shooter, almost like a Star Fox. I don't know if it was any good. I think people were comparing it to this and saying, oh, it doesn't hold a candle. But, I don't know, Chad, have you played that, and is it any good? And is it one you'd feasibly want to see? Only because again, I would be curious to see what it's like and get a sense of, okay, how are they doing updates on old games? We've mentioned that before with some of the stuff. We mentioned that with, like, updates to Space Invaders and Asteroids and things like that, and Missile Command, along with the originals. Yeah, Midway did want to get in the... Alright, there we go. So the attack wave is done, and by doing that, we get more points. Okay, so no, the hyperspace is actually just like Asteroids, actually, where you basically transport somewhere, but if you hit something, you're going to be in trouble. Alright, there we go. So let's go over here and use it. There we go. But avoid the bullets, because they're so tiny, you have to be careful. But I do like how everything is kind of, you know, exploding off of the ships, creating this nice debris effect, especially for when this game came out. Oh, shit. Yeah, there's going to be flashing lights. I'm sorry about that. I'm putting a warning on that. Oh, shit. Alright, well, I qualified for the Hall of Fame, so fair enough. Alright, we're going to just go with WZZ. Yeah, let's try one more time. Okay, so yeah, I probably should... Maybe I should have tested some of this stuff before I ran this. As far as the flashing element. Again, it's more of a courtesy. It's not like an, oh, I have to do this necessarily. But it's like, I want to do that in case... And I definitely will when it goes on the YouTube site. When I feel it calls for it. And this is one of those cases where I think it calls for it. But I didn't know that was going to happen. But I do like this game, even though it is very simple. Well, sort of simple. I mean, there's definitely mechanics to it to keep you playing. But it is straightforward to the point, and it has a nice, you know, retro style. Like, yeah, you're in space, you got all the ships coming, and you just gotta take everything down. Oh. Alright, that's game over. I think we're gonna take a stop on this and go into its sequel. Well, have to take a quick look at history. I mean, I won't do this for every game, but for some of these big ones, I think I want to do that. Yeah, I'll definitely have stuff as far as the history of this, the gallery of... Wait a minute, is that a picture? Whoa, that's blurry as shit. Wow, okay, so that is Eugene Jarvis, the man who created this game, and Robotron, and Oh, no, he didn't create Joust. But yeah, it's blurry as anything. Wow, okay. And they pinball Defender as well. Alright, that I was not aware of. And... Oh, okay. Alright, so we are going to get some reference to Cruis'n USA in here. Who knew? Alright, so I guess there's a version of this game that is a car. I thought maybe I saw a version of this in arcades. Chat, let me know if that's the case for it. But yeah, I don't know if I've... Either, if I saw this when I was really young, or I saw it maybe once and never again. Because most of the versions I saw of this were like stand-up versions, or ones you sit in but don't have like this car design. Alright, so there you go. And yeah, there's videos here as far as when they want to go to the trade shows on it, the debut of it, what Gene Jarvis thought about these things. Okay, so they got a lot going on to this. The public meeting this, management didn't like it, but of course, as is often the case, even when something like that happens, then, you know, hits a permanence with people and everybody loves it. As far as its sequel, that I don't know. Let's take a look at its sequel in the history element. Video game that doesn't kick your ass the first time you play it isn't doing its job. Okay, so we're going to be getting into a perspective of difficulty on game. Alright, people are basically some kind of masochists. They want to have their butt totally kicked so they can get revenge. He's getting a cycle of vengeance to keep quarters flowing in the arcade, and Defender had to open a floodgate of quarters for that. Alright, so there you go. Like brilliant studio film, Defender was a rushed exploratory first effort that sparked ingenuity and excitement, and the sequel meant they could deliver on it big time. Alright. But did they? I guess is the real question. Okay, so they have the box of the 2600 version of this. Alright, so, yeah, this is definitely a video gaming museum, and I do like the idea we can show this game off this way. Haunted House. That's an Atari game. Okay, not this one. Alright, so their hit parade of Defender, Stargate. I don't remember Stargate. No, Stargate's the sequel to this, so yes, it is in this. Robotron, Moon Patrol, which is not on this collection either, and Joust. And trivia for that. Okay, videos. Alright. Alright, let's play some Defender 2 then. Which is the picture we showed there. It was called Stargate. It came out in 1981, and this was another one where I believe there was a concern with, licensing that kept it going, or kept it from having that name initially. Actually, look at it, it looks exactly the same as the other one, for the most part. They still have the bomb you can use. Okay, you have like a life bar? Like there's that bar over there on the left that I'm hitting that and it's going down a little bit. Okay, not that. That's the bombs. That makes sense. Yeah, a lot of this is kind of like the first one. Oh, okay, the turning is a little different because they put that on L1. At least in this collection they do. Oh, shit. Oh, let's give it another shot. Yeah, this is a lot like the original, I'll say that. Whether it's better or not, I don't know. I mean, I haven't played this enough to really say either way. But I'm still having a good time with it, as is, and hopefully you guys are having a good time with the experience of the Midway Treasures game. Definitely a unique one as far as a stream, so there is that. Whoa. Oh, people. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, because they kidnap people in this game. I forgot about that. And when you shoot them down, you have to catch them feasibly. Or just kill them. Either or. I can be a total sadist. And I'm pretty sure that Eugene Jarvis would have that in mind as far as like, okay, you can do this. Yeah, you keep coming out of nowhere. Oh, there we go. So there's the... all the landers are set, so we're good. Also, I'm kind of playing this really willy-nilly, just kind of flying around, just shooting everything, and... not necessarily for total skill. But I could see with some practice that I would definitely get into that with this one. And let's go back there, because there's a lot of enemies that can use a smart bomb over there. Okay, and I just did it in time before I get hit. Because with everything here, and especially with it being so small, it seems like it's easy to get yourself killed if you're not careful. I'm clearly not being careful playing this. Or I can go in that portal thing and... Oh, save the humans. Well, that human's not getting saved. Alright, I'm gonna try one more time because... Alright, I enter the realm of the Defender Immortals. Yeah, but I'm not that good. So let's see. I want to see something else because there's people here. Okay, because I could... Okay, now I can kill the people on the ground to protect the... Or I can kill the people on the ground at least, or I can just try and protect them. Which I think I do want to do. And after this, I think we'll go to Marble Madness. I think that's game over, so I think we're gonna cut him out of this. Or, there we go. Alright, so next on the docket, we did the Defender games, both of them. Yeah, let's play a game I'm a little more familiar with, personally. We'll go into the history to start. This is Marble Madness. This came out in 1984, I believe. Yes, 1984. It's a game that's controlled by a trackball, and I will say this, I'm not sure this game, or this collection is going to do that a lot of justice as far as that. Alright, here we go. To create the graphics of this and other games at the time, Atari Games used a development system called the Picture Processing System, which took up a small room, cost $100,000, and featured a huge tablet with a 12-button digitized puck. By technology, you can only draw horizontal and vertical lines automatically, so diagonals had to be rendered by hand. Okay, so, there you go. The idea of this is you're rolling a marble around. And I like this game quite a bit, although it's better in the arcade because of the way the controller is. Even though it's just analog. And this goes back to something I've said a couple times before when we've just streamed for stuff like this, which is... The way trackball games tend to work as far as arcade stuff, it's a very specific method of play that always seems to be a really hard thing for companies to replicate on a console. Even on something like PlayStation 2, you think with an analog stick, oh, it'd be perfect. But it is kind of wonky. And the idea is kind of like, well, let's go back to what we've talked a couple weeks ago, Super Monkey Ball. I'm pretty sure they paid attention to this game when making Super Monkey Ball. Because the idea is you're just moving your marble around to get to the goal. And you're this wonderfully, I guess, trippy and, you know, new wavy music. You try to go around and get to the end without dropping your marble to break it or running out of time. And get bonus time if you get there quickly. Oh yeah, and you have to watch out for the other marbles there, but be careful rolling down the hill, because if I fall too far, I'll get knocked out. Okay, I'll get knocked out if I hit those slinkies. Or get eaten by them. Yeah, if you fall off, you're not in good shape. Oh, yeah, but if you fall too far, you get slammed. Ah. Yeah, the way it controls... Not that it's bad here, it's just that with a trackball, it's just so specific and precise. Ah. Thankfully, you have unlimited lives in the sense that, okay, you just have to... You just have your, time. But I'm gonna get to the goal. Oh, and you have this music, which is definitely an interesting one, especially when they did the Genesis port of this. It sounds very ear-grating, but in the arcade it sounds really nice. Oh, right, if you go in the acid, you're in trouble. Oh, did I get time? Okay, I don't know how I got time, but alright. Ow. We have some nice effects as far as that's going, but I'm not going to get to the end in time. Alright, we're game over. Alright, but I guess I got number 1, so there we go. Okay, how do I... Start 1 or start 2? Okay, so I had to hit start in this case. Alright. Alright, fine. SPA, I guess. Let's try this again. Because I do want to play this a little more. And this is a game I am more familiar with in the sense I have actually played this in the arcade. And I do quite like this one. Also, it's an interesting one because this is one of the first games worked on by Mark Cerny. Who, if you're a PlayStation fan, you probably know him for his work with the Jak and Daxter games, the Ratchet and Clank games, the Crash Bandicoot games, and even some other stuff in between. Like, he did producing work on Sonic 2. Ugh. Probably should have mentioned when we played that, but since I don't have the video anymore, I'll, well, when we do Sonic 2 again, I will mention that when we do it. That being said, I might potentially wait until that Sonic Origins collection comes out, the one they just announced this past week. It's gonna have Sonic 2 in it, and the thought is that for all the games in that, they're gonna be doing, what is it? They're gonna be doing, they're gonna be, I guess, either doing the remasters from the iOS Android for 1, 2, and Sonic CD, and feasibly doing that for Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, which are coming back. And I'm so happy to hear that they're coming back. I was mentioning a couple weeks ago, it was rumored they're gonna be doing something with that, but yeah, that rumor is true. That's happening. That and the Sonic Colors, remaster. I guess we'll get into that feasibly more, unless chat wants to go into it now, but we'll also talk about it next week when we do Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for Super Sonic Game Saturday. And when my girlfriend makes her debut on the program, which I'm definitely looking forward to, and she is as well. Ugh, the acid though. Alright, I can go across, that's what I have to do. Oh, can I? Okay, so I guess they're giving me pity time for falling off feasibly. Yeah, it is weird controlling this with this controller, I'm sorry. If this is the arcade, I'd be handling this no problem, but on PS2, unfortunately, no. That being said, I do want to try it one more time. Of course, that is the appeal of these arcade games. You'll be able to keep wanting to, or you're going to want to keep playing because of, you know, how hooked you get. Yeah. Alright, so not bad for the first level, but yeah, it's the third I can't get past. Ew. What I probably should do is just go here and take the shortcut down the chute. Oh. Ah. I guess this is a harder path because of how, you know, tight the platform is. Whoa. Oh, it fell down. At least I want to try and get past the third level, though. Just for the purpose, or for the intermediate race as it is. I think the acid tripped me up last time, so feasibly if I can get that taken care of. Ugh. I think in some ways it's better to just fall off or go really fast because you'll be back up quick enough. Or do that to avoid the acid altogether. Might be able to make this. Ugh, no. Come on, come on, I almost have it. Okay, made it. Perfect. Alright, the aerial race. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's getting a little tighter. Oh! Oh. Those foghorns are sucking me over there. Ew. Oh, they just destroy me entirely. Okay. Yeah, I'm not making it out of this one alive. Alright, I think that's going to be it for this one. Alright, so now we're being QPA. The entry's weird on this, so that's the reason why. Alright, so that was Marble Madness. We'll do... Oh no, that is next on the docket. Awesome. Alright, this is one of my favorite games in this collection. This is Paperboy from 1985. Basically, a little boy going around in your neighborhood delivering newspapers. I got a lot of memories of this one in particular, especially playing the arcade game. We have Mr. Paperboy right there, who has great service, so that's the idea, but he can also, you know, do other stuff, like, you know, stopping robbers or breaking windows. So let's hit that start button and get this one rolling.
You may not like the news, but you have to admire the person who delivers it.
Yeah, I definitely do. So yeah, that digitized voice, I do love that. And you have your option of where you want to go. You can go to hard way. Oh, okay, I didn't mean to go hard way. Let's try this then, see what happens. Alright, those houses that are not black are my customers, so I can deliver the newspaper on their stoop or into the mailbox. I mean, it's terrific music. Wait, what? Oh, it's R1. Okay. But if I have a house that's black like that, they're not subscribed. So what I gotta do is break their windows to make them subscribe.
Oh no.
I'm not crashing stuff. I do love this game as far as that digitized element. The controls in this one are weird, though, just because of how they set it and also because of how it is. But they do give you some options for it, and we'll look at those a little later. As you go along, pick up newspapers. Keep going. Avoid the grates. And the guy, doing construction. There we go. We went into the mailbox, and you're all set. Oh, shit.
Let's see a hang ten.
Oh, there you go. I think it was a quote. Also, in its sequel, which is only on consoles, it was Paperboy 2. Oh!
Oh man, that's bogus.
To be honest, though, I don't do the hard way, so it was kind of a surprise on my part that I actually ran out of time. Oh, there we go. But I do like this game. It is not an easy game, though. I will say that. And they do give you some difficulty options you can play around if you are not necessarily good. Oh! Alright. Paperboy calls it quits. Accused of negligence and vandalism. Worst ever, claims irate customers. Yeah, but we're gonna try and do this right. Oh, no.
Juvenile delinquent.
Hit and start. It's not doing anything. Hang on. Oh, turn the handlebar, choose, press button to start. Oh, R1. Okay, I keep forgetting that. I tend to do easy street anyway, so let's take a look. Actually, you know what? We'll do each of the streets, just for the purpose of this. You do have a week to do this, or 5 days, I believe. Just keep going, just throw your papers. There you go. Oh. So what? Yeah, why am I not pedaling faster?
What a great car.
Alright, actually I'm doing pretty good on this so far, even though I'm not going particularly fast. You know, I guess I'm just kind of going slow on this one. Okay, I'm doing much better because we're on easy street. Oh, but I still hit the car. Or the toy car. There's a guy doing breakdancing, which I do love that touch. Just the character of this game, which is always very appealing to me. You see, I'm trying to start and stop, but it's not doing anything. And maybe I need to use D-pad, because I think they do differentiate this differently on the controls based on what you have. I think. Well, you know, I might go out in the menu and just check that. I at least want to get through one day of it, at least. Oh, that broke their window. Yeah, if you break the window of a subscriber, you'll lose them the next day. Or if you don't get their paper on where they need to go. Oh, that dog, yeah, the woo! I do love that. But I also break up a brawl. I guess they get electrocuted somehow. Whoa!
I live a life of danger.
Alright, I think we're almost at the end of the, street. Actually, I don't know why the speed's not working. What's going on with it? Okay. Oh, it's on the right analog stick. Okay, I didn't know that. Or that I had it set to the right analog stick. Actually, it does play better than I'm familiar with. So, alright, perfect. Let's see how I did. Oh, I got a couple cancel descriptions. Unfortunately, this port lacks one thing. They lack the do-do-do-do-do-do sound from the arcade, which is like, yeah, a weird case. They missed that, but whatever. Alright, there we go. Yeah, the pedal on the right analog stick feels way better, honestly. So, okay, now I'm set. And now I'm going crazy on this. Ow. Yeah, unfortunately, I got a game over it. Was that right? Okay, no, that's right. Alright, so I got a good score on Easy Street, so we should be set. Alright, how do I do this? Alright, the handlebar, and then hit the R1 button. Yeah, I'm just kind of putting in any name I want, feasibly, for this. Let's try again. Let's do Middle Road. At least we'll get the full Paperboy experience going on in here. I missed. Unfortunately, that's the thing that can happen in this game. If you're not careful, you don't toss the paper right. You have to time it right before you throw it. And it kind of goes along with you as you go down the street. As long as you deliver it to at least their, I guess their porch, you should be good. You do want to get in the mailbox for more points. Whoa! I do love he has the basket over his head after basically anything. Alright, there we go. I'm surprised I hit... It looked like I hit into that statue and I thought it was gonna die. Oh, no, no! Ah, I busted the window. You do get breakage bonus for busting the window, but you lose the scrubber. Oh, death! Yeah, we're literally just biking away from death. Oh, or I fall in the water. But if you do die here, it doesn't count as a death. You just... This is the training course. By the way, if you get your canceled subscriptions all the way to nothing, you lose. I do have that non-subscribed house as a smiley face on it. Ugh. Yeah, but we're gonna make them subscribe to our newspaper, or that crazy guy's gonna... Aha! The old Looney Tunes elements. I do love that.
One last customer.
Oh. Yeah, even he'll comment on the fact that, you know, I'm losing customers left and right. I do have that guy. He's just standing there. I guess he's just having a nice drink on a Tuesday morning. Oh. Oh, yeah, he's breakdancing all around the place. Yeah, we're all out of paper, so I gotta get more. Oh, shit. Or not. Alright, I guess that's game over then. Well, there it goes with the Daily Sun, the world's most throwable newspaper. Alright, so it'll be... Ka. Alright, so that should be that one. What's next on the docket? Alright, next is... Okay, we got two more on this side, and then we'll go to the right side. We got Gauntlet. Gauntlet came out in 1985. This is a hack-and-slash game that was made popular with, I guess some of its sequels. Particularly the Legends game and the Dark Legacy game. This is the original. You're going around in a fantasy area just fighting enemies. Going through a maze. Now I'm going to play as the warrior. How I select... Oh, press start. Okay.
Welcome. Pressure 100 points.
And I love that digitized voice on this one. You go around, just kill everything. But your health is continuously going down. So you have to find food to keep yourself alive or pay money. Yeah, you gotta shoot and avoid the ghosts.
Say keys to open doors.
I do have that digitized speech, and you could use that just to open the door, or you could go to the exit that way.
Oh.
The ghosts are kind of getting in the way. Yeah, and they come out of those little, Okay, there's food, so we got some food to keep ourselves alive longer.
Oh, warrior is about to die.
Uh-oh. Alright, so we're dead.
Welcome.
You do have your magic on... Oh, you have to hit... okay, it's circle, but you have to collect magic first. And the point of this game is just destroy the areas creating the ghosts or monsters or whatever they are. And just keep going. This is definitely a fun one as far as when you're playing with people. And this collection does support 4 players for playing it. Which is how you want to handle this, for sure. Alright. Now try to fight the grunts.
Save potions for later use.
Which I believe give you health. So that's good. That's going to be the way of that one. It's basically like an early dungeon crawler when you really think about it. And probably a game that I would think Blizzard was paying attention to for Diablo, but then making it more of a, you know, exploratory element than just killing everything.
Oh.
Oh.
Remember, don't shoot food.
Oh, right, I forgot about that. If your shots can destroy the items, so you gotta be careful. Magic potion affect everything on screen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny, you kind of want to just keep moving in this game, but you also have to be careful of the fact that the monsters come out of those spawn points, so you gotta destroy them quickly too, while keeping your health up and finding food while your health is continuously going down. Yeah, I think I need food badly. I do love those lines of dialogue in this game that definitely become part of gaming's lexicon of warrior needs food badly, and warrior is about to die.
Warrior is about to die.
And there you go. I don't want to die. I want to get myself out of here, but... Yeah, you know, I think I just gotta go back. And hopefully find something as I go along. Yeah, I'm not seeing much food, so I might be in trouble. But I'll keep this going if I can.
Oh.
I guess I exploded into a key. Alright, so let's enter initials. This one's a bit slow. Yeah, let's just da. Oh, right, I forgot. I can continue on the level. So we'll do that one more time, and then we'll go on to the next game. And I kind of like the way this is going as far as this rapid fire setup. And hopefully you're enjoying it too.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh, no! I keep making that same mistake, destroying the food with my shots. I mean, we're talking, like for you mentioned, this is the button mashing element of Joust. This definitely is one, although you can hold the X button down just to throw rapidly. You just keep going with that. So this kind of fits that mold as well. Alright, so I'm in better shape now than I was before. Especially now that I got that food, or...
Food.
I got a food. Okay, there you go. Wait, can I get to that exit? I have to go around. But I don't have much health, so I don't know how this is gonna go.
Oh, warrior is about to die.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna die again. I'm just gonna go on to the next game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm done. I'll be done soon enough, anyway. Yeah, in this case, there's so many enemies, and I'm so low on health, I'm not lasting. Alright, bye-bye, warrior. Oh, no, well, let's finish entering the name in, and then we'll get a game over. I'll let it get a game over after I take a drink of water. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so that's Gauntlet. What's next on the list? Alright, Rampage. Let's do this one. Actually, one thing I do is quickly check the controls. Punch is on X, jump is on circle. I want to change that. Okay, jump is on X, and punch is on square and level skip. So they put that on a button. Alright, never mind. Alright, so this is Rampage. This came out in 1986. It's a beat-em-up where your monsters taking down a city to destroy scum labs. Not scum labs, scum labs. Who created you, and I guess you're going for that beautiful girl there. Alright, because you're humans and you return to these monsters. That's what it is. Yeah, right, there you go. So we got George. You also have Lizzie and Ralph. Just go around, beat stuff. Very simple, but still satisfying to a degree. I like its sequel, honestly, more than this. Rampage World Tour, which you're going to see when we do the Midway Arcade Treasures 2. This one's a bit slow, in particular, as far as how it works. But you just have to keep jumping up on the buildings and punch. But it's kind of wonky how the controls work and how you grab stuff. But the other thing you do is also hit down and eat the enemies and spit out fire. I think we destroy enough of the buildings, the military comes, and, yeah, they'll destroy the place. We're in good old Peoria now, destroying the place to start. Just keep going and avoid getting your damag, you know, dropped to nothing. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely one of the more popular games of them as far as the franchise is concerned, although this game tends not to be liked as much as others in it, or, you know, other later entries. I like it enough, but as I mentioned, I like its sequel more. It's also, I think, the only game we're going to talk about tonight. Well, okay, the only game that actually got a movie based on it, which is a horrible movie, by the way. If you've never seen that Rampage movie, yeah. I would not recommend that. It's awful. I mentioned it when we did Knuckles Chaotix, the idea that it's trying to take itself seriously instead of being like a B-movie concept, and it's insanely violent and grotesque in ways that do not fit, and just kind of make you feel icky. You look at this, it's like, yeah, they just make the movie based on this, monsters destroying the city like Godzilla, like a B-movie, but alas, they did not do that. Yeah, you do move a lot slower. The thing about World Tour that makes it better is you move a lot faster, and you can grab onto the buildings a lot easier. You have to be right next to them and hit up on the D-pad in order, or analog stick, however it might be, to get them set. And if you don't jump off in time, you get yourself hurt, but you get yourself hurt a lot anyway. Just kind of doing that and keep going and pick up the people there and eat them. I think we should almost be done with this area. I'm doing better on this than I have, actually, in a while. Oh. Right, but if you lose all your health, you turn back into a human, and then you're totally naked and you walk away. Alright, so I was continuing only because I thought I could change monsters, but I can't. At least not yet. And you know, let me restart this, and then we'll change monster. Because I do want to show a different one than just George. Although I tend to play as George when I play this one or the original. Or the sequel. Oh, I hit George again. I didn't mean to select him. Alright, fine. We'll do one more time, and then we'll go on to the next one. And they'll be going on to the other side of the screen. Really not too much to say, honestly, about this one, but it is fun enough. But as I mentioned, I like its sequel better. And chat, let me know if you've got memories of Rampage and what they might be, and if you like the other entries of the series more or less, feasibly. Because I've only played the World Tour game, because there were a couple other ones. There was the Total Destruction, which I think was on the GameCube, the PS2, and the Wii. There was Rampage 2 Universal Tour, which I believe was on the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. And I believe that was... Oh, no, there was Rampage Through Time, which is on PlayStation. But I never played that one. I don't know if it was any good or not. Alright, so down that building's gonna go, feasibly. It's a little limiting as far as, its audio elements in this, which is kind of make it feel more, I don't know, a little more desolate, feasibly, as opposed to when World Tour did it, where, okay, it was on top of the building and fell. Thankfully, World Tour gets rid of that, thank God. But in that one, they kind of had, like, this orchestral music stuff to it. And you also had the multiplayer for that one, too. And you have multiplayer here for up to 3. And this does support the multi-tap to be able to do that. And I know World Tour did this. I don't remember if this one does it as well. When you're playing with multiple players... Oh, no, World Tour is the only one that does this, because this one you have the punch and the jump. That one has a kick button, and when you do the kick on that, you can hit the other opponents, and when you do that, you can actually kick them in the crotch, which is hilarious. They will grab themselves in pain going, ooh, ooh. And it's immature, but it's fun. Actually, we'll show that off when we do Midway Treasures 2, because Rampage World Tour is within that. Oh. I guess Chad was mentioning the Donkey Kong element. Yeah, there's a different take on Donkey Kong in the sense that, no, I am Donkey Kong, pretty much. Or a take on Donkey Kong, or King Kong, and just destroying the place. Alright, yeah, get out of here, helicopter. Alright, so we're now in Chicago again, and I think I'm probably going to lose here, and when I do, I'll go on to the next game then. You do move very slowly, and the one thing I like about World Tour, again, going back to World Tour specifically, is the idea that you move much faster, and it controls way better. But the front for 1986 isn't too bad. And it does have an interesting style, so there is that. Alright, so off we go to the next game. And the other side of the screen. So let's see, what do we have next? Yeah, I'll do that one a little later. Yeah, let's do Splat. This, sorta came out in 1982, but from what I understand, apparently this didn't get released. We'll go into the menu on this one as well, for the purpose of that. But what you do in this game, you're playing, in a food fight, and you're throwing pies and other food at people. I think you press the other buttons to throw in different directions, or use the analogs to do that, or grab keys. Alright, there we go. Look, double header. What I did read about this game, though, is there was a lot of inspiration from the movie National Lampoon's Animal House for this one, from what I've gathered. And, yeah, so that's kind of what you're doing, just throwing the food around at the people, and definitely make it go splat. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, and I'm not sure if Chet's played this, Food Fight, which was an Atari game. I think they then did, like, a revamp of that on the Atari Jaguar of all places. And why? Where am I? I was like, wait a second, I didn't come back. Alright, no, in this case, you also use the right analog stick just to toss the food in any direction, which is nice. Oh, crap. Banana Brawl, you need a head to throw food. Yeah, that's weird. Like corn. It's like the, or walking corn on legs. Or it looks like the mascot of, I don't know if people are familiar with this thing, corn nuts, which is a snack of some sort. I never had it. It never seemed very appealing to me. Alright, that's game over. Oh, let's try splitting again, or splatting again. Oh, I see. I get to select the player. I want to be... You know, let's play as Tanya Tootsie. Actually, kind of looks like Hanny from Matt Meister from last week. Oh. And, yeah, what happened? She lost her head. Okay, now I got it back on. Yeah, this is weird. So yeah, before we had decapitations in Mortal Kombat, we had it in this game. Who knew? We're the Hitman. Well, it says you need a head to throw food, but I'm just throwing it the minute I'm picking it up. Oh. He says it's launching on its own, so I'm like, basically just have to time it right. Okay, Karn Stalker attacks. That's what happened. Alright, gotta get my head back. Alright, damn, alright. So, you know, I'll try one more time, and then we'll go on to something else. Because honestly, this seems like it's very... a little one note, honestly. But not a horrible game. More of a curiosity than anything. We mentioned the idea of 720 not being a very good game, but just the idea that, alright, fine, this is a game that maybe had a time and place, and is more for historical value than something I really, really want to play badly. I believe it was unreleased, but we'll take a look at that before we go on to the game after next. Alright, there we go. I think, yeah, you have to hit him 3 times, I believe. Hand him off with the pass. Yeah, this game definitely has a lot of head puns from what it looks like. Which is good if you love puns, bad if you don't, and kind of in the middle if you're like me and you say that puns can be good or bad depending on their delivery. Whoa. Alright, at least I got the corn guy away. Looks like you're also picking up keys, so that seems kind of weird. Ow. Creature feature. 2 hits, kill creature. Alright, let's do that then. Also notice I have to wait before I can come back when I die, which is kind of weird. Nerd Hunt. Alright, so yeah, alright. Now I'm seeing the National Lampoon's Animal House parallel here. I think one of the trivia things in here gives you a multiple choice to determine that. Or to explain that that's the reason. Intermission, try some popcorn. Alright, but yeah, the corn's gonna die. Oh, what was that? Yeah, either those are banana peels or something else. That's weird. Whoa. Actually, I'm doing pretty well for not really having much familiarity with this game. Oh. Alright, well, that's game over. That actually wasn't too bad. You're now a Splatinator. Or Splatiate. Splatiator? Okay, put your initials in, hot dog. Alright, throws like... What's throw? Okay, so I just type in more than just that. Actually, I probably should have put in SuperOldGameSaturday. I probably could have fit it. But, you know, we'll just be Xwtsrupu. Or... Wait a second, why are they putting that in? Now it's asking me for my initials? Okay, that's weird. Actually, it kind of reminds me of going back to Tetris a little bit. The PC version of it from the Microsoft Entertainment Pack. They actually say, put your name in when you get a high score and then put on your cool quote. Alright, but yeah, high score. Alright, I'll take that. So I guess we're the nerd beaters. But yeah, I think I'm done with this one. Well, sort of. Alright, so there's the cabinet. Alright, so it has... Okay, it is dual analog the way I was playing it. And just explain, I guess, what the controls are. And okay, so there was also a cocktail version. Alright, so here is the controller elements. Yeah, walking and throwing. So yeah, dual analog. Just like Robotron was. I see no history. Yeah, that was the trivia, which is that it was based on Animal House. You know what, let's do that. Let's specify this. Or let it play by hitting the Animal House with the right answer.
The inspiration for Splat had a lot to do with John Belushi's big scene in Animal House. It was a good time, it was a lot of fun, and I thought just a food fight would make a really good game.
Alright, but it was a rare prototype game that was completed and tested in the field but never released. Till this collection, I guess, feasibly, unless it got out some other way. Alright, so that's Splat. Yeah, no, let's do this one next. I kind of don't know how to play this game, so let me pull out the controls. Alright, so... place, fire, rotate, speed up, movement. Okay. This is Rampart. This came out in 1990. From what I understand, it's something of like a castle tower defense game. Kind of like a puzzle game, kind of a strategy game. Kind of a lot of things, weirdly enough. And very ambitious from what I've gathered as far as arcade games are concerned. I don't know if I've actually ever played this, despite having this collection for as long as I have. There you go. There is Rampart. It is a game of strategy and survival. From 1990 from Atari Games. Let's play and see what we're dealing with here. And there's multiplayer to this. I do know that. And I believe there is support. No, there is support for multi-tap to play with 3 players. Let's do recruit, because I haven't played this. Alright, so we're the Blue Army. Use a trackball to select the home castle. Alright, so this is another trackball game. Place the cannons by positioning beside your fort walls. Alrighty. So I guess it is kind of like a, okay, must be placed inside fort walls. I love that they underline it. Oh, no. Alright, so there are my cannons. So yeah, we're getting a little bit of strategy going on in this one. Prepare for battle to shoot at the enemy ships. Alright, set that down and basically just protect your base. Alright, this is kind of cool, actually. And it looks really nice. Now do building repairs, surround castles, repair holes. I do like this. You're kind of just keeping your castle going. Yeah, so it is... Okay, so it's kind of like... I should basically just build out so I can, you know, keep the castle going. Whoa! Alright, so I'm just gonna keep the cannons here. But I think the next round, if I make it that far, I should just try and surround the other castles. Actually, this is pretty cool. I'm actually liking this quite a bit. Chat, do you have any memories of Rampart? If so, let me know and we can talk about it. Alright, so the Blue Army conquers. Hooray. I like the regal style of its presentation. Alright, so let's choose a home castle right here. Oh, but I get fewer cannons as I go along. Yeah, they're destroying me really quickly. Oh, but yeah, they're coming to the land, so I gotta be careful. Okay, it's random what they give me, so I gotta be careful that way, too. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be in good shape there. Full army defeated, alright. Alright, so I didn't do so hot that time. But I get 4 cannons to use instead of 2, so we're all set this way. I think I probably just repair what I've got this time. I think it's random what they give you as far as the pieces, so sometimes you have to just take what you got. There we go. You just keep yourself walled in, pretty much. Kind of has, as I mentioned, a strategy feel to it. Almost like our early precursor to like an Age of Empires or a Civilization or something, even though it's definitely much more simple than something like that. Alright, come on. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this taken care of in time. Yeah, unfortunately I got defeated. Now let's try one more time. Because I am actually starting to like this game quite a bit. I might have to play this one on my off time when I'm done with the stream, because this game is really fun. So far, anyway. The only thing is, it seems like you're sometimes at the mercy of what piece they're going to give you, and if you're not lucky, you're in trouble. But I walled in time. Ow. Looked like I was walled in enough, but apparently not. Right now, I'm going to go on to the next game. I'm having fun with that one, though, so actually, you know what? Let's take a look at some of the history. Alright, the invention of the trackball, the wall boys, how Rampart got started. You know, let's watch how it got started.
Tom and Dave started working on Ramparts after we did Klax, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so they were messing around with Tetris puzzle pieces, and in their typical style, they came up with a totally unique approach to this game, and something that definitely only they could come up with. I mean, the concept of taking these puzzle pieces and building a wall, and then having another stage where you go into this battle mode. I mean, it's so abstract and strange, but anyway, they got the game up and running in a very easy play, a fundamental state, and then Pete Lipson, who was another developer at the time, programmer, worked with Mike a lot, and I, at lunchtime, started playing Rampart every day at lunch.
Religiously.
And because we were building walls, we became known as the Wall Boys. And we were the first people, clearly, to play Ramparts. And I think a lot of our enthusiasm helped fuel them along, and we fed back to them on what was needed. But it was an amazingly, we all used to laugh with them about how bizarre the game design was. I mean, the whole, puzzle piece, building walls, cannons, fighting stage. And it's a very unique game, very interesting game to me, how it works out. And a lot of fun with the trackballs. And so we were with them during that whole time. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I can see what they're talking about. Actually, that is a pretty succinct and interesting way of putting that game. And based on playing of it, I like it. I really think it is unique. I can't really say I played much like that, especially as far as an arcade game. So, yeah, bravo to Midway as far as Rampart and finding me a new game that I really want to play more of. But here's one I have played before and have familiarity with. This is Roadblasters. This came out in 1987. This is a racing game where you're shooting and driving around. And there was references in Wreck-It Ralph, as I mentioned when we played Sonic and All-Stars Transformed a few weeks ago. It's just a case of, they turned the machine off for Roadblasters. I remember talking to some people saying, hey, wait. I said, oh, cool, they have a reference to Roadblasters. And this game's like, wait, that's a real game? Yeah, it sure is, and here it is. Hit the pedal to start, which is on something. Oh, was it? Wait, hit start. All right. All right, there we go. What's the acceleration? Oh, right, it's on the right analog stick. I forgot about that. Just accelerating and just shooting everything. Hit the R1 button to fire and just shoot all the cars off the road. And then collect the extra gas so that you're going to keep your car going. I like this game, actually, quite a bit. It definitely gives a nice take of, combat elements for driving. Well, I guess that has, scrolling elements and stuff like pole position and outrun. Oh, you'll get that red orb because that's bonus fuel. I have a larger amount than the green.
Shoot opponents for score.
Alright. Basically, the idea is you have to get to the end, and you have to destroy as many things as you can in your path and get there before you run out of gas. Oh, you get new weapons. So, yeah, I got the Uzi, which is on... No, I think... No, it's the same button. Oh, no, it's not the same button. I hit L1. But you don't have the Uzi for long, so you gotta be careful when you use it. Uh-oh. Yeah, they had mines around here, so be careful. Oh, don't drive over them, you explode. Actually, it's interesting. We're going to be not getting a whole lot of racing going on in this one. That's the Midway Treasures 3. But for the meantime, we do have this, and it's a fun one.
Your Z increases multiplier.
Oh, right. That's if you shoot a car and then you shoot the next one in a row. You basically don't shoot willy-nilly the way I am. Oh. Also, don't run into the other cars, you're screwed. Ow. Uh-oh. Oh, right, you hit the checkpoints and you get more gas. That was the other thing as well. Yeah, it's been a while since I played this, so a lot of ways it's me remembering how this works as I play. Uh-oh, I think I'm going to run out of gas here. Alright. And when you're out of gas, that is game over, but I will continue. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to my next continue. Alright. Right, and yeah, so I have a lot of reserve fuel now because I destroyed a lot of things. I think you do start to go faster in some of the later stages. Okay, it looks like those purple cars are indestructible.
Tap special weapons to increase performance.
He's very smooth as far as how the scaling goes, so something to be said about that too. There's a lot of... Oh! It looks like we got into hang-on territory there with the bikers, but yeah, we're gonna shoot him down and kill him. Oh, use the Uzi to do that, okay. Mines are coming. Okay, never mind. I guess I can kill the purple cars with the Uzi. Actually, I'm doing pretty well on this one, surprisingly. Because of having not played it in a while. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I get to the end of this one. Yeah, that was close. Actually, I'm seeing more of this game than I think I have ever seen. Yes, you guys are too as well. So there's that to be said. Ugh. Cruise missile? Okay, I guess I didn't get... Okay, I missed it. Unfortunately, it's right over there. Yeah, I think this is going to be the end of the Roadblasters' time. Alright. So we're out of gas. I think that's going to call a game over as far as this. Alright, but that is a fun one. And a unique one as far as being able to just fly around and shoot stuff. Alright, so we're all Qs now. Yeah, it seems like I'm just entering anything as far as the name, feasibly. Alright, that done. Yeah, do we want to do this one? Yeah, let's do this now. This is Spy Hunter. This came out in 1983. It was supposed to be a James Bond game, interestingly enough. But they couldn't get the rights, or they weren't able to get that set. So actually, they do have rights in one other aspect, and I'm going to be very curious to see how this works, because there's technically licensed music in this game. This is the theme for the TV show Peter Gunn, which was done by Henry Mancini. I don't know if they're going to pick up elements of that for how old it is, and actually we're going to run into a case of that when we do Mega Man X4 in a few weeks. So we still have to work through that specifically, but we'll see. Alright, so we're going to drive around with the old Interceptor car, with the nice spy car, which has all those neat gadgets. You just drive around, switch yourself as far as your gears to get going, and just shoot everything. You know, that great digitized music there. Yeah, but you have to switch between low and high, almost like Outrun a little bit. When you're at high, you can't drive when you, or get back to driving when you're, you know, crash and die. If you hit the sides of the road, you're done. As you go along, you shoot the cars. or fall off the side of the road like that, and then find other things to destroy all of the evil, you know, cars. But yeah, this game is very hard to control with this. I'm going to say this right now. I mentioned this collection has some aspects with its controls that are really weird. Controlling this with dual analog and all of the buttons, because you use basically every button on the controller for all of the power-ups you have and for the gear switches. And you can change the controls around what you want, but still very weird for how it plays. Honestly, like Marble Madness is another one where I think if you're going to play this, you kind of want to play in the arcade because of the way it plays so specifically that is really hard to replicate at home. Let's chat. You can think of a good version that has really good controls as far as how it works. I mean, these are fine. I can play it. It's just that you're seeing I'm running into the sides of the road a lot. Almost like, yeah, I just want to stay at low gear. So like, oh yeah, I'm not going insanely fast, but I'm staying alive. Okay, now I'm staying alive. But yeah, it's good to get that thrill of going along. Oh, and then I just hit the biker off the road, and then I collapse. But the good old weapons van is there and will give me other stuff, including missiles, when I find them. Or when I find the... Yeah, there's the weapon van, so I gotta go catch up with it. When you catch up with it, you drive into it. But yeah, I'm dying so many times, we're not gonna see that. Oh. Yeah, I always forget, you know, put the low gear on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, again. Okay, yeah, oh no, I can destroy the weapon van. Alright, never mind. Alright, they knocked me off the road, and I believe I ran out of time. You can feasibly die as much as you want, but if you run out of time, you're done. Yeah, we'll give this another shot and see what happens. Ow. Alright, that teaches me to go into low and high gear. Ah. Ow. Yeah, honestly, this is another one I'm not very good at. And part of it is the controls of this, but part of it is also this. I never really grew up with Spy Hunter that much. And my only other exposure to it is the remake. It was on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. But I played it on the Xbox, where it's kind of a little worse than it was on the PS2. I've actually just get that PS2 version and play it. Because the PS2 version was developed by Paradigm Entertainment, which is a company I talk about all the time. Because I'm a huge fan of some of the stuff they did, particularly Pilot Wing 64 and Beetle Adventure Racing. Games which I'm definitely going to have to show off. Oh, I want to do Pilot Wing 64 again, because I don't have the recording for it anymore, because that is a terrific game, and it's one I have a lot of love for. It's a game that's good enough to play again, so I have a nice recording of it. And there we go. Now we're going down the road and destroying everything. But if I can find... Alright. When you see the weapon van come up, you hit... Oh, there it is. Oh, but yeah, they knocked me off the road, so I can't get it. Alright, so I guess we're not going to see much of the other power-ups. But they are interesting to have, like the oil slicks and the missiles and all that. Oh, but you slow down too much, you go off the road and die too, so... Yeah, not too much. Ah. Alright. Alright, so ranking is 11, so... Yeah, I think that's going to be it as far as the Spy Hunter-ness. Alright, so with that, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left to go. Okay, no, 7, because we did Robotron already. So never mind. Alright, let's keep the driving element going. Let's do Super Sprint. Super Sprint came out in 1986, and this is a top-down racing game that actually was kind of a homage of sorts to other games that were by Atari. Specifically, Grand Track 10 and the other Sprint games, which were not necessarily Midway games. There are like 8 of those, interestingly enough, before this one. And this is a formula that Midway would then use a lot for other games, particularly for Super Off-Road, which is one I have a lot of familiarity with. It's sadly not on this collection, but we'll get to that at some point in the third Midway Treasures title. And other stuff like Badlands and, I believe, Championship Sprint, which is in the Midway Treasures 2. Alright, so take a perspective of what you're doing. Basically, all you gotta do is just drive from a top-down perspective and, well, just go in a row and, oh boy. Alright, so yeah, this, okay, it replicates, like, because I think these machines had steering wheels on them. So it's just gonna keep going, pretty much. Alright, just steer the wheel and go. I thought you needed acceleration the way you did in, Super Off-Road. But this did come before that one did. And you do pick up items on the track as well. I think for repairs and stuff like that. Actually, let's try and see if I can't get the wrench. Whoa. Alright, well, at least I won, so there's that. You do have shortcuts, and I think you do have to follow the arrows, otherwise it doesn't count for your lap. Okay, I think it's an oil slick. But you can't take that shortcut going through that opening and closing door, or go backwards. Yeah, the controls are weird, and that's the other thing about it. Because there's this version is replicating the way the arcade game went with the steering wheel. You're just kind of turning it, and you're turning it all the way around. But it's weird from a top-down perspective, as opposed to, like, being behind the car. Alright, so I didn't win. I'm trying to remember, I don't think you have to win, necessarily. Or, I don't think you... Do you get penalized if you lose? Okay, no, you do. Yeah, you do. Never mind. I guess feasibly you can't... You know, you can't get 4th place. Oh, but now we have tornadoes on the track, so be careful about that. Woo. Actually, yeah, I'm going backwards. Ah, crap. Yeah, I haven't played this game much either, honestly. And as I mentioned, the way the controls work are kind of a bit of a stumbling block. Hey, you know what? Fuck it, we're going backwards. We're going to crash into these cars and see what happens. Even though they're all at me, I've given up winning. I just want to take care of them. That's sometimes the other fun, which is, you know, going outside the boundaries. Yeah, alright, fine. I'm doing alright just going this way. But I was like, yeah, not winning. But right now, that's not the point. Ah. Yeah, it's very sensitive as far as how the movement is, so that's maybe what's going on with this. So, you know, let's try and hit the tornado. Oh, okay, guess not. Now, let's try one more time, and then I think we'll go on to the next game. Because honestly, I don't think we have too much more to go, honestly, on this. Because it's more going to be a showcase of what the games are, and explanations with the history with some of these, of which, admittingly, I don't have experience with a ton of these. But some I do, and actually I think one of the ones that's coming up I'm definitely have a lot of experience with, and I'll be sure to go into that when we see it in a few minutes. We're doing better this time, so at least there's that. Eh. Oh. At least I'm far enough ahead that's not going to matter on hitting the walls. Yeah, because you stop. Oh, or I can go over the jump that way. Alright, never mind. I did not know this game had that. Eh. Shit, now I'm going backwards. Alright, yeah, it's one little thing like that usually can screw you up. Let me just try and not get 4th. Because I want to see something. Alright, never mind. I guess I'm still getting 4th. Or, wait, am I? It says I got 2nd place. Alright. Yeah, I'm not going to continue racing. I think that's enough as far as... I mean, honestly, there's not much to show to that. Yeah, we'll get to Tapper in just a second. Let's do Tapper now. This is a game I have a lot of familiarity with, and I love this one to death. This came out in 1983, and you're basically going to be playing as a bartender who's serving beer to people, or at least that was the original version of this game. Because it's initially called Tapper. It's saying root beer tapper. But what happened was when this game initially came out, there was a licensing element with Budweiser. So you're that, bartender guy, who actually was the bartender in the bar in Wreck-It Ralph, going back to that movie again. So nice attention to detail that way. And you're basically taking this and you're delivering all of your beer specifically to the patrons. Or in this version, just root beer. So we're going to see something as we play along to see kind of a nod to the Budweiser connection. There was a lot of other console ports of this, or home computer ports. They did have tie-ins with other, not beer elements, particularly, Pepsi and Mountain Dew, I believe. And the reason they made this version was because A, they didn't want to pay for the license from Budweiser anymore, and B, the thought of, selling alcohol to children. But basically the game is the same. You just fill up the mugs and give it to the people, and I'll show you how this game works. Alright, there you go. So you just press the button in order to fill the tap up and let go. In the arcade, they give you technically a second analog setup, or they give you like a tapper. You push down on it like if you're in a bar and you're getting your beer served to you. This version doesn't have that. They put it on a button. There is another version of this game that does have it, which is on the Xbox 360, which you can't buy anymore because it was a downloadable only game. And I don't know, and if you know this, let me know. The Midway Arcade Origins on the 360 and the PS3, does it have the second analog usage? Basically what that 360 version did is it made the tapper control on the right analog stick. You pull down on it, it's just like the arcade version, and it's incredible. And I have that version. We can show that one off at some point when we pull the 360 out again. Right, there we go. But the other thing is that, the empty mugs come down. If you don't catch it in time, you're going to die. But if you get far enough, you basically gotta throw them back out the door. It's like, you got served your beer, you're all set while you hear, the old Susanna music playing. Hello. You also want to make sure you're throwing that towards a customer, because if it goes to nothing, you die. But I've got some skills with this game, even though I have to hit the button on this one. And I get a nice drink myself. But you got the bonus games between with the Beer Baron, who's getting into trouble. Gotta pay attention to the one he hasn't shaken up and then pick it out. And it's this one here. There you go. This one's for you. That's actually a takeoff. In the original version, they say it's "This Bud's for you." So it is a reference to the Budweiser, slogan from the time that this game came out. And now we're at the baseball field, the sports field. So you get them going. Also, you can pick up the money. That's a tip. You get the nice dancing girls come out, and some of the patrons will look at them and be distracted and not move down the bar. Basically, you gotta just clear the screen out of all the patrons. But sometimes they'll come up at the end, and you gotta be quick to get rid of them. And also, they get right to the end of the bar, they're gonna be mad at you for not giving them your beer, or giving them your beer, and they'll throw you across the bar. So I want to try and avoid that. And also keep an eye on those empty mugs. Oh. And sometimes it gets really fast as far as how this is. Like, you have a lot of customers you got to figure out how to serve. And take into account how the length of the bar is. It'll take less time to drink, I believe, on the longer bars. That one's going to get up there. As you're going to probably see this happen right now, of them getting too close. Or me dropping one, fair enough. But there is also the trick there, which is, I'm at the end of the bars walking to get the tip. But if you hit the tapper button, he'll automatically go back to where the tap is. And really, not all the customers will look at the girls when you pick the money up. Oh, shit. Alright, unfortunately, I threw that one when there wasn't a customer. And that's kind of what this game really is. You basically just pay attention to where everything's coming through, and then make sure to time it right when they, if they get there and they're like, hey, they're gonna be stopping drinking, make sure they go out the door. and get a little intense as far as handling everything, but there you go, got him. You get those humorous animations where, yeah, he throws the beer mug and he hits his foot on it. There's another one which I think you see for beating this level, so I want to try and see if we can show that one off. Oh. I got him, there we go. I think we see it on this cutscene. So after I get my drink on, yeah, throw up in the air. Yeah, but it hits the bird, gets the bird drunk. But, well, okay, not on root beer, he's not. But, yeah, in the original version, the idea is, yeah, you throw the beer mug up, and the bird gets not just stunned, but drunk. This version technically doesn't have that, but they kept the animation the same. 2, 3, 4. You basically want to just keep count, pretty much. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I'm definitely better at this game than a lot of the other games in this collection. And as I mentioned, this isn't even the best port of it. That's that 360 version, unless the Midway Origins collection also has a dual analog control, which I hope it does, but I've never been able to get confirmation otherwise, because I don't have it. So chat, if you know, let me know, because I'd love to be aware of that. Or I'll just get that collection and show it off at some point. 3. Yeah, but they just keep coming, and if you don't get them out early, that usually can be trouble. Oh, shit! Oh, yeah, I didn't time it right. I got him. I at least want to get to the punk bar. Because you have different stages. You have the saloon, you have the sports area here. And then you have the punk bar, and you have the alien bar, which is really hard to get to, so I've never actually seen it. Just keep an eye on where the beer baron put everything, and just keep an eye on where that beer is. Alright, it's the second one again. By the way, if you pick the wrong one, you get beer, or root beer in this case, in your face. Alright, here we are at the punk bar. Now these are hard because you have the bars going left and right, as opposed to just left or right for all of... Oh, shit! Oh, thank God! Customer went in the door immediately before I went in trouble. Yeah, this is where it gets really hard, and I've never seen past these. Oh, shit. Alright, so that's game over. Alright, oh. Yeah, I'm not touching anything on the controller here for that, so I don't know what's happening. Maybe the analog stick got stuck or something. Alright, so we're... I don't know. You know, let's do one more run of this, and then we'll go to the next game. Also, because I think this is the last game in this that I'm really familiar with. And it is a favorite of mine, again, because of that 360 version, but also because I played it in the arcade, and it is a blast to play that way. If you've never played this game in the arcade, I recommend you do that. Whether it's the root beer version or the actual beer version. I mean, they're the same, it's just the graphics, that's all that's changed. And when you play it with that tapper control, it just feels right. And that's why I love that 360 version so much. And usually if you're quick, you can clear out some of these bars really fast. Oh, right, I forgot, you can jump into the bottle. You know what? Just for the sake of showing it off, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to show that 360 version, let me fail this intentionally, just to showcase that. Alright, this is the one that's correct, we're not pulling that one. There we go. So, oops. Yeah, you can follow that shell game when you get used to it. It's not insanely hard to follow. It's not the egg from Super Mario RPG for the Lucky minigame, which I don't think you can follow that. Just to go back to that before we play that game again next month, I don't think you can follow that egg to track it. Unless I'm missing something. Whoa. Oh, but yeah, then the football player there came. But I did time it perfectly, get him out. 1, 2, 3. If you're just kind of keeping count and making sure that you're keeping count when you toss the beer mugs out. Oh, shit! Oh, okay, that was close. If there was another one, that would have hit the end of it and I would have lost. Or died, I should say. Yeah, let's get the bird drunk again, why not? Yeah, you can jump into that beer bottle over there, even though it is root beer. You know, let's assume it gets a sugar high or something. There we go. Yeah, you can get through these really quickly if you time it just right. And also the other thing to keep in mind is that when they're at the different bars like that, they either take longer or shorter to drink the mug if they, you know, don't get thrown out the door when you throw the mug at them. So you can use that to your advantage to kind of basically control how this is working. There's one. Whoop. Oh shit! Yeah, I saw it happening. Sometimes you see that. You see the idea that, oh yeah, I threw an extra mug when you didn't mean to. And that way, that's kind of the beauty of this game. It's like, oh yeah, you have to kind of keep in time with everything and keep the numbers up, but also not send the tap down for another mug when you don't have a person there. Or get lucky and they appear right. Oh, that was unlucky. Okay, I was unlucky 2 ways. One, because I got rid of the last person, and then more people came. And then because she was still drinking when I threw the other one. Oh. Oh, shit! Alright, fine. That's enough. Because I don't want to just turn this into a just we're playing Tapper. Because I do love this game. And if you never played Tapper, it is an experience. But with that out of the way, we have 5 more left. So yeah, it was going to be about a 3-so-hour play. Next up is another game I'm not that familiar with. This is Satan's Hollow. This came in 1982. It's something of a fixed shooter, I think. Almost like, I guess, kind of a Space Invaders take. Now let's spell out with the, I guess, what, lava bullets? What are we thinking? Alright. Obtain bridge pieces by shooting the enemy. Get them from left side and then put it on side. Okay, so it's almost like Rampart in the sense you're kind of in a strategy element while also doing shooting. Alright, let's take a look. Oh hey, we got another game with Rather Valkyries. So yeah, I guess it made sense we played Matt Meister last week and then playing this game. Alright, so I gotta get my bridge piece over. Alright, so yeah, there is everybody there. So I basically just gotta keep going and just keep building the bridge. So yeah, it is like Space Invaders a little. Well, it's Space Invaders and Galaga almost, in a weird way. Oh wait, okay, for a minute I thought I ran out of lives. Like, wait a second, I only had 1 life. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm wondering, though, how much of that bridge do I need to build to get him out of here. That, and also, can they destroy him? Okay, alright, you have a shield. Alright, you hit the circle button for that. Whoa! Oh, but you have a timer on the shield. Alright. Alright, so I got 11th place. I'll play a couple more times. Actually, I'm kind of liking this. That nice digitized, you know, PC speaker-like sound, although this is not PC. Or, the game was not from PC. It's an arcade game, like all these are. But it does have that kind of sound of how that old primitive chip music sounded. And it's very appealing and nostalgic. Even if you never necessarily played the game. Because actually, I've never played this game either. Except for this collection. That's the only place I played it. Okay, so the shield recharges, you have a couple seconds to use it. So, alright, so you're not completely defenseless as far as, you know, trying to protect yourself, or feasibly from the fire of, I guess Satan? I was gonna say, okay, it does protect from the fire, so you can use that to your advantage, too. Alright, so there's a little more going on in this game, so, yeah, okay. So I guess unlike Rampart, it's kind of, you know, getting me to appreciate something that maybe I didn't put as much time into as I should have when I've had this. Oh, It's funny, I'm almost playing this the way I would Galaga, like, yeah, thinking I don't have a way to defend myself. Oh! Alright, so basically I came over to a new area, but yeah. Yeah, the devil or Satan is blending in with the background. Which I say is not, I would say that's not fair, but then again, that's Satan for you. Alright, let's try this again, because actually I'm having a lot of fun with this one, too. Oh! Okay, yeah, you can also even reflect them when they fly down. I mean, imagine Galaga with a mechanic like that. Oh, shit. I'm surprised the other takes on Galaga didn't try that. Whether it was, like, the Galaga Legions games, or some of the sequels, like Gaplus. Oh, shit. Unfortunately, this is also, like, Galaxian, the first game of, like, the Galag series, I guess you want to put it that way, where you only shoot a couple bullets out at a time. You have to wait till they get off the screen to shoot again. Oh, what happened? It looks like the screen was broken. Alright, whatever. Now I'll try one more time because that was too quick, and then we'll go on to the next game. I think we'll have like 4 or 5 left, so we should be almost done with the Super Old Game Saturday goodness for tonight. And hopefully you are enjoying this look back and this marathon take on the Midway arcade treasures. So I'm certainly having a good time with this, and it is unique as far as showing off these things and kind of going into the history of gaming in ways that even though I wasn't completely familiar with. That will not be the case for the next couple weeks, though, because on the docket for the next couple weeks, next week is the next entry of Super Sonic Game Saturday. We're doing Sonic the Hedgehog 1, both the Sega Genesis version and the Game Gear version. And the week after that, we're playing Mega Man X3 and Mega Man X4, and the week after that is Mega Man Legends, and then the week after that is Part 2 of Super Mario RPG. I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks, because that's going to be the example of my girlfriend being on this show, and she's looking forward to it, and so am I. There's also some games that I'm a little more familiar with than some of these, but that sometimes comes with the territory, and I do like the idea of discovering new stuff in the concepts of this as well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. Let's keep going on the Satan's Hollow. This is actually a pretty fun game, so I'm gonna say that it's kind of this is helping me discover some other games I'd like to play more of, honestly. Maybe for the chat out there, seeing other things you'd like to play if you haven't played it yet. Again? Okay, got him. As you'll notice, like, those red bullets are kind of blending in with the top of the background, so you don't have a whole lot of time to react when you get down at the bottom. I'm also not seeing many bridge pieces coming up. Or I just go over here, then. Fair enough. Okay, I got him. Alright, so I did take care of Satan, so at least there's that. Actually, no, I can die happy now. Oh, I'm not done yet, okay. Oh. Alright, so that's game over, but... Oh, number 1. Awesome. Actually, it does remind me of another thing, because this is on multiple systems. It's on the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, but... Actually, the Xbox version did have... Oh, there we go. That's weird. Why did it take only 2? Oh, okay. But yeah, the Xbox versions did have... Okay, we're not playing again. The Xbox version of this game did have online leaderboards. Unfortunately, they're no more, because Xbox Live on the original Xbox is gone. But it was a nice feature, for sure. Alright, so we got 4 more games here. We have Sinistar, we have Toobin, we have Vindicators, and we have Smash TV. You know what? We'll finish on Smash TV. Let's do... Sinistar. This came out in 1982, And it is something of a shooter as well. One I'm not that familiar with, but I know the name. I can barely read this the way that they have this set on the game. Okay, it's like Asteroids, basically. Or actually, like Time Pilot. Have you ever played that from Konami? Just flying around, shooting. Kind of going left and right. Shooting a lot of stuff. I guess avoiding the asteroids, but even hitting those enemies is not doing too much. Mine Crystal. Okay. And Swarm. Okay. Actually, no, I'm not dying from crashing into stuff, so that's interesting. Actually, it's kind of like Defender in the sense you have that little radar at the top of the screen. Actually, I think this is by the same guy who made Defender. Oh, no, it's not. Actually, no. No, it's the same guy who made Joust, I should say. Mr. What was his name? John Newcomer. That is really his name. So, there you go. Yeah, it's kind of flying around just in space. I'm kind of liking this, although it is a little simple compared to something like Defender. I do like the way it's scrolling, though, so there's that, too. And it's put you in that idea of, you know, being in space. Whoa. But it is strange that, yeah, I'm crashing into those asteroids and I'm not dying. Okay, now I'm dying, so you get shot by the enemies. Oh, right, okay, I remember that part. Yeah, that weird, alien guy going after you when you get killed. Okay, that I remember from Sinistar. It's funny, I don't remember much else of the game except for that. And there he is. Let's see if I can't destroy him or get eaten. Oh. Alright, that's game over. Now I'll try one more time for that and then we'll go on to the next 3. You did say something about mining, like, crystals or something, so I guess you have to destroy these things. It's mine crystal to make, Simibiome, it looks like. Yeah, I can't read the dialogue as well on screen. I mean, you might be able to read it out there in chat and watching the video, but I can't because of the way I have this set up on my HD TV and running it with composite cables. Maybe another benefit for getting that, Midway Origins collection, because I think this is in that. But chat, let me know if that's not right. Kind of get that face guy coming around so I can take care of him again. Or try to take care of him this time, I should say. Ooh. Yeah, I'm doing a pretty good job taking care of these guys for the time being. Ooh. Oh, I could just hold the button down. Fair enough. That'll work. Okay, I was just tapping the shoot button. Because I guess a lot of shooter games like this, usually you're tapping that like crazy. Whereas like you were mentioning, you have like a button mashing concept with something like Joust or some other stuff. Oh. Actually, he's up there feasibly, so let me try and see if I can't kill him. Yeah, looks like he's not dying easily. Ah, alright, so that's another game over. I think we're basically done with the Sinistar elements. Alright, your score ranks among top 30. Get 3 initials using the joystick and make an entry. Oh, I can enter numbers. Or, hold on, I'm hitting... Oh, I just had to move left and right. So, C, B, B, why not? Yeah, I've got a lot of weird names going on as far as this, but, alright, so that's the end of that one. And next we have... No, I was going to say this for last. I'm doing this now. We're playing Smash TV. This came out in 1990. This is, I think, the newest game on this. Well, that and Klax, specifically. But yeah, just like with Robotron, it's by the same guy who made Robotron. That would be Mr. Eugene Jarvis. And it's kind of a futuristic game show concept of like where you're basically this guy who's running around shooting everything. It is a little choppy, I'm noticing, with the transition, so I don't know if that's an emulation problem. It looks like it might be. But yeah, run around like Robotron, just shoot everything. But yeah, we're getting really violent in here because we got a lot of blood going on. You got other items that you can use to just destroy everything and get those TV ratings up.
Bingo!
And pick up nice cash prizes and other things you go along and avoid getting yourself murdered.
Bingo!
And hear those great digitized voiceovers in this. Or to pick up gifts if I can get over there. Yeah, talk about, you know, visceral as far as this. Like, yeah, just kill everything, explodes in blood and guts. And you have a map when you clear out a room to go towards Mutoid Man to kill him and get the ratings up. You get the host here.
You'll need it!
Oh, I do love the host in this game for all those classic things he says, like, good luck, you'll need it, or of course, I'll buy that for $1, or I'd buy that for $1, I should say. Oh, yeah, one hit and you're dead, so be careful. It is definitely a slower game than Robotron is, but it does play much like it. Except much more violent and more visceral. I mean, for this game, I know from what I've gathered is that they were pulling heavily from RoboCop, as far as like the satirical element of future television with people getting murdered on it, which actually turned out to be, I guess, a little prescient when you really think about it, going back 30-something years. But also, the movie The Running Man, which starred Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson of Family Feud fame, as this guy's trying to go through and, you know, survive this blood sport. Actually, that's also take what Manhunt on PlayStation 2 ended up doing. Yeah, it's definitely a little more, I guess, satirical and lighthearted than some of that stuff is, all except for RoboCop, because RoboCop definitely has the satirical element. And you've never seen RoboCop, it's amazing, by Paul Verhoeven. It is so wonderfully over the top, but still so cool and interesting. Alright, eat my shrapnel. You go in here, sometimes you get surrounded by guys, and then you gotta just destroy them. Or have them destroy you. You get some of those other guys that take more damage. Alright, the other thing is you pick up weapons, but I didn't pick that up in time to get the missiles. Oh shit, alright, I'm dead. But you do get an option to continue, so I'm gonna continue for a little bit. I'm back. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, just going through the rest of the stuff. We're on Smash TV right now. We actually only have, I think, 2 games left. As far as we got. But again, all the stuff we have is going to go on the YouTube site as far as this and every other video. And we're caught up now. So, the only video I have to upload is this one. So it's like, I don't have to go back and archive other streams. I only have to archive this one. The only other thing I might have to do is take a look at the video, and if there's anything weird with, like, the video cutting out or Twitch acting up, I have to edit around it, which is what I had to do with Mad Maestro, and hope you like how I had to edit around that, because I had to be a little clever with what that was, and I think I did a pretty decent job, but if I didn't, let me know over on the comments over there. There we go. You pick that up and you go faster, but I'm getting myself killed.
Contestant 1!
And you do have 2-player, by the way, for this, but for the purpose of this, it's all solo, baby. At least until next week. Well, actually, okay, it's going to be solo as far as who's playing next week, but I'm not going to be alone, because my girlfriend's going to be all set for the Sonic the Hedgehog element and the celebration of Super Sonic Game Saturday for the anniversary month of Sonic. So we're going to be in good shape for that. In good shape to talk more about those developments that came out of that Sonic Central thing from this past week. I mean, the fact that Sonic & Knuckles is coming back is making me very happy, especially the thought that we might be getting a remaster to that the way we got with, you know, the Christian Whitehead and Simon Tomley stuff on iOS Android for 1, 2, and Sonic CD. They haven't confirmed it, but they said it's going to be widescreen, which is making me think maybe. And they did put the release date of that pretty far. It's out to next year, so we're not getting this very soon. Actually, we're getting the Sonic Colors Ultimate, the remaster of that, sooner. We're getting that in September. Oh yeah, there we go. So I did pick up the spread gun. You also pick up the grenades, feasibly, and you don't have those forever, so when you have them, you keep using them. Alright, here we go. The only problem we have is crowd control. So you gotta do is destroy everything in the crowd. But sometimes you get, blindsided or surrounded, which is always the hard part of this game. But it is a lot of fun and very visceral and very appealingly violent in the way that Midway ended up being known for. Although, as far as that, this is really the only game on this collection that really has that element of its violence. I mean, we'll see that in Midway Treasures 2, when Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 are on that one. And actually, interesting factoid now I'm thinking about it, as far as the violence. I'm mentioning the idea that we're playing all 3 of these Midway Treasures at some point. Interesting enough, each of them had their own ESRB rating to them. This is a teen-rated game, the second one is a mature-rated game, and the third one is an everyone-rated game. So it's interesting the idea they spread that out. I'm gonna go a little more, maybe one more time, just to keep going and see some other stuff, because yeah, this is fun. Honestly, I guess now I've probably been playing this one, well, along with Tapper, probably more than any of the other games we played tonight. With also, Tapper and Klax, and Satan's Hollow as well, because actually I was really liking that, and Rampart. Because I was not as familiar with Rampart and Satan's Hollow, honestly, even having had this collection for a while. So I was kind of finding, oh, these are some new games that I'm really liking. And other reasons why, like first you're mentioning, there's a lot of good memories to have in this collection, and a lot of good memories to make, and a lot of discovery to have on a bunch of games. That's always the appeal of a collection like this, and I definitely have loved showing this off. I look forward to showing off the other Midway Arcade collections and other ones. Actually, when we do the Sonic stuff next week, it is going to be collection, because I'm using the Sonic Mega Collection Plus again, and I'll have the audio set correctly, so we're not going to have it drowning out, or the music drowning out everything. That was my fault when we did Mean Bean Machine, but not happening next week. Alright, there we go. And we got missiles going on, too. It's slower in some ways than something like Robotron, but then again, it also has kind of a stylish element, and it's not, technically, chugging, although at the beginning it looked like it might have been. Okay, I'm done. Well, done that way, so I got one more life. I'm surprised we haven't heard the I'll buy that for $1. I'd buy that for $1. I keep saying I'll buy that for $1. That's I'd buy that for $1. Which definitely goes to how timeless some of the quotations and things in this game are. Shit! Okay, now I'm at the exit. We're gonna... Okay, yo, good luck. You'll need it. Yeah, we're going to the exit. Let's fight Mutoid Man at the very least.
I'd buy that for $1.
There we go. I wouldn't feel right not playing Smash TV and not hearing that. Although, interesting enough, some of the console ports did not have that line in it. I believe the Sega Genesis version does not have it, so in that case, you want to hear the I'll buy that for $1, play it on Super Nintendo. Or play the arcade port like it is here. Oh! I do always want to kill Mutoid Man. I have unlimited continue, so I can at least try and do that. Oh! Get shot, though. Alright, yeah, I want to at least kill... No. We're gonna keep playing. I'll at least kill him, and then we'll go back to the last 2 games which we have, which are, Toobin and, Vindicators. Do I need the power-up over there to hit him? Oh, well, maybe. Yeah, okay, no, I just hit him in front. There we go. Oh. I do have that detail as far as, how insanely gruesome it is. Like, the idea is, like, not only to explode in blood, but also, like, my eyeballs, come detached, and they're just flying towards the screen. Yeah, I mean, Midway certainly knew how to make violence, like that really, really appealing and really, really fun. And feasibly, scare parents as far as that, but then again, in some ways they're making these things for adults, so, I mean, there's that perspective, too. Especially as an adult now, I can appreciate the ideas like, oh yeah, here we go. Okay, just hit the hand. No, we're not quitting until we kill him. Oh no. I don't know if I've actually ever seen him getting killed. Not that I necessarily sat down to play this game as much as I feel I should. Oh, there we go. Damn. Yeah, look at that. Oh, he's not dead yet. Now he's just like a skeleton guy. It goes to that weird element of games like this, and I do find that appealing. or I guess this is not necessarily an arcade thing, but I'm also thinking of, I don't know if anyone in the chat's played this, Neo Contra for the PlayStation 2, which is a Contra game that kind of plays like this. Well, that and also the Rogue Core, which I hear is a disaster. The one that came out recently. But Neo Contra is, I guess, a little better of a take, although I never really got into Neo Contra the way I did into some of the other ones. Alright, come on, he's going down. Man, this guy takes a lot of punishment. I can't imagine how, in the arcade, you're supposed to beat this guy without putting tons of quarters in the machine, although that's probably the design philosophy. Alright, come on. I want him dead. You see, I'm getting that bloodthirsty mindset as well. Alright, oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is the reason this collection has a teen rating, and feasibly you could argue it should be an M rating. But yeah, he's dead. I'm running away from that trail of things in slow motion. Because I can't shoot for that, but there we go, we got him. Alright, now what? I'll go to my next life or next death, and then we're done. Wow, look at all those toasters. And cars, okay, so you just picked up tons of cars for you killing all these people. And VCRs! Yeah, so you can tell this is a game from 1990. And all that, those nice cash bonuses. Yeah, I guess feasibly me dying so much has not penalized me as far as all the stuff I picked up. They're really excited. Yeah, I'll say that, yeah, the transition thing, I don't know if that's a thing for the original arcade version, but it still seems like it's kind of wonky. Alright, so go on to next life, and then when I die, I'll go to the next game. Oh, shit. Alright, that was fast. Alright, fine. Made promise that, I don't know why it's jittering. Yeah, and it looks like this is happening that way in the video, so maybe it's the way this is emulated. Then again, I'm not familiar with many of the other, just straight emulations aside from this version, but yeah, there you go. And with that, we got our nice, you know, girl by our side, and, Super Old Game Saturday. Yeah, the S is, implied at the end. Alright, so all-time score of 3, and today of 1,835,450. There you go. No, we're not going. We're done. Because I played this game enough. It is a lot of fun, though. Yeah, if you have not played Smash TV, I would recommend you do so. Let's do Vindicators, and then we'll leave Toobin for last, because that's a good one for as far as going into summer. Because that's an inner tube game of sorts. This is a tank game. This is not Battlezone. This is definitely something a lot different than that. Or different from something like, Chris, what's the name of that game? Zaxxon. Yeah, I was trying to remember what the name of that was. But like Zaxxon, it is an isometric case. This came out in 1988. And, let's see. Oh, no. Oh, right, because there's multiplayer. I think you play it for 2. Alright, let's go to... Oh, okay, fine. Medium zone. Go there. Alright, and you can customize your tank with, Alright, those points I have, feasibly. Alright, we good? Notice it's giving me a lot of customization already. Okay, so here we go. Going around with tank firing. Yeah, but the steering is weird. I'm going to say that right now. Alright, okay, fine. It is a tank. It's literally tank controls. Fitting. So yeah, this is one, yeah, using D-pad I think is probably the better idea. Basically play it like Resident Evil. Go left and right to turn, and then press up to go forward and down to go back. There we go. Now we're all set. Definitely nice and futuristic. You can collect the stars and destroy everything, and avoid getting yourself destroyed. What's that? Okay, that's... Okay, gas. Alright, so we're kind of back in Roadblaster territory, in the sense we have to get gas for our tank. Actually, I never really played this one that much either. I don't know, Chad, if you guys are familiar with this familiarity, I should say, on this game. But it's kind of interesting. In fact, all the games in this are interesting to a certain degree, even if ones are like, yeah, they have an age particular, like 720. I mean, actually, like, first I'll go back to that. I think that probably is the weakest thing in this, now I'm thinking about it, of what we've played. Although, weird enough, it's not the game I played the least amount of time. I think that was Splat. Well, I'll find out. I'll put it in the video and I'll make a correction of an edit when I get to that point. Oh. Well, that's game over. Oh no, I keep hitting start, because I'm thinking start to, you know, continue, which it is, but then you hit it again and it pulls up that menu. But you also hit the select button and it pops up, so it's kind of weird. You'll just keep destroying stuff and having a good time. 2 free smart shots. Alright, I'm trying to hit some of the other buttons. He was saying there are other buttons to do something. Alright, yeah, the circle button throws out that. Left trigger is for special... Oh, I'm running out of gas. Oh, boy. Alright, I'll continue once. Or once more, and then we're gonna go rafting down the river, and I think we're gonna call it a night for the Super Old Game Saturday program. Okay, no, that's the smart shot. Circle button is the smart shot. Alright. I mean, in some ways, I'm kind of just, I guess, playing this one and trying to figure it out as I go along for this one. But there's definitely other ones that I'm more familiar with, as we saw with Tapper and Smash TV. And the ones I caught on to quickly, like Rampart and Satan's Hollow. What happens when I destroy that? Can I go in the other door? Okay, I guess not. Just get... Oh, well, actually, no, I can. Let's go in the other door. Why not? I do like the idea that you can kind of customize the tank as you go along. It's just kind of like what Super Off-Road ended up doing. It's not a tank game, but still, the idea is you go along, get more points, and do better, and you can upgrade your skills. Yeah, I think my tank is going down. I am going really fast, so I do like that idea, but I gotta get... Okay, I'm out of gas. And I'm dead. Alright, I think we're done for this one. So I'll let it go into the game over state, and then we'll take a look at Toobin, and we'll be all set. That'll take us to a nice 3.5 hours. Alright, we're LVR. Alright. No, we're done. Oh, no! Okay, I hit... Hold on, wait a second. I'm trying to quit. Okay, the game didn't want me to quit. Sometimes it seems like the movement's gonna get stuck, and I don't know what that's about, if it's my controller, or if it's the collection, or what. Chat, let me know if you've seen something like that. But with that, we got one last game to look at. This is Toobin. This came out in 1988, and this is a river rafting game. We're in an inner tube. You have to go against another guy who's around and just throw stuff at him. Like, go down the river with some nice visuals and audio. Here we go, and a good one to get set for summer, for sure. Yeah, we're going tubing with the tube dudes, Biff and Jet. I wonder with Biff they had an element of Back to the Future going on. Alright, there they are. So there are the two guys. This is a weird one. I never played it before this collection. I think they ported it a couple other places. Like, they even ported this to the Game Boy Color, and I'd heard about that. I was like, okay, but I never played it until this. It is interesting if nothing else, and the idea is like, oh yeah, you're kind of on a river raft as far as this. And you use the buttons to kind of move yourself around and go forward. You're just kind of moving your left and right arms to keep yourself going forward, and then need to throw cans of things at your opponent. Go to the swamp gates. I think, yeah, you can press the L2 and R2 buttons to, I guess, swim backwards, and then the L1 and R1 buttons to go forward. Kind of hit them both at the same time, or if you have to turn around, just hit the one until you get yourself set. Oh, and don't hit other things, otherwise you're going to be destroyed. And avoid the fisherman. I do like the music, kind of like the rockabilly style of things. It's certainly very colorful, I'll say that for sure. And it's unique. I can't really think of other games I've played where you're playing as, you're going down an inner tube like this. I mean, I guess it's kind of a racing game. It's kind of like a combat game. To a certain extent. Oh, yeah, and if you get, destroyed with that, you're done. We'll play a little more. Yeah. Oh. I do have that digitized voice of them going, whoa! Oh, shit. Ah. Now I only gotta try one more time, and then I think we'll be set. Whoa! Oh. Yeah, I'm stuck in something. Wonder what that was. You just keep going down the river. Oh, and now we got alligators. Oh, but I love how I just ate him, so that's awesome. Alright, so I guess we're in the grass area then. Or we're getting shot at by the natives with arrows, I think. Oh shit, no! Alright, I guess fitting that I get eaten by the alligator. You know, I'll go one more time and then we'll be set. Oh, wait, okay, what? Oh, it's a bear. I was like, wait a second, what was that? It looked like a cloud first. I'm like, wait a second. I do like the water sounds and effects here. I'll say that for sure. I also think the vertical display, this kind of fits that. Oh, gotta watch out for, I guess, the hippopotami, I guess. Oh yeah, there you go. There's the natives with the blow darts. Oh, looks like he's gone. So yeah, my opponent is no more feasibly. I would say he's gonna be fine, but no, he's probably dead. That's fine. Oh, Christ, electric eels probably. Whoa, but I'm stuck in the grass, or whatever that is, the seaweed. Unique with how this game controls, so I'll say that, and they do replicate it pretty nicely for this collection. I would say, oh shit, alright. You know what, I think I'm gonna let myself, die. They're going down the Amazon, okay, so we're basically going around different places. I think we started in Colorado, and suddenly we went all the way to the Amazon. And only about 5 minutes, so, how nice. Alright, so let's see. LLV. Why not? Alright. So that's game over. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at some of the history on who the two dudes are. Biff and Jed are way rad. Heart. Get wet. Alright, well, we did get... How cool are you? Oh, there's a t-shirt contest. That's expired. So yeah, that was December 1st, 1988. So if we're ever seeing this with time-traveling technology, yeah, go back there if you want to get feasibly a free t-shirt. Actually, I wonder if anybody's ever gotten that, or if anybody watching this has been in a case like that. But I think we're set for this. I'm going to go back into the history on this game, and I think with that, we'll pull one out, and I think we're going to call it for the night. So in that case, we have covered every game, unless I've forgotten something. Let me just make sure, because I don't want to run into that case again. No, it looks like we've done everything. Alright. Let's see what the inspiration behind Toobin was then, and then we'll call it the night. So take us away.
I think the big inspiration for Toobin for me when I was first thinking of the idea is it was kind of a reaction to the fighting genre of games that was going on at the time. And I saw an enormous amount of violent activity in video games at the time, and I swore to myself there must be a way to create a game that's fun to play and can earn a lot of money, but can be good, clean fun for kids to play. Well, I think it was a good it was a fun game, and a lot of people enjoyed it, but it still didn't have the appeal that the Violent Games had. It's just amazing. It's very difficult to come up with a concept that you would think that people would have fun playing in a sort of a strategic way, a kind of in a challenging way in terms of the control, to challenge yourself as a designer, to come up with innovative new environments and approaches, and still the kids are drawn toward these violent tendencies. Later on, I went to do Primal Rage, which was a big hit because it had a lot of blood in it. So it's a reaction to kind of these violent games, and I thought that there was a way that we could make a game that would be good, clean fun for kids, and I think that Toobin was definitely a cult hit. There was a good, strong, following of the players that would always play it and loved it and would play it all the way through. But it didn't have the broad base appeal that some of the other games did.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point to it. I mean, because this is never a huge hit specifically, but I mean, it's interesting Tim talking about the idea of like violent games, because this was 1988 for Toobin, as I mentioned, but it was not when Mortal Kombat was around. So I'm surprised what games he was feasibly seeing, although then he mentioned Primal Rage, which is in Midway Arcade Treasures 2, and there is violence, and there's also some other stuff, some other more tawdry elements. Another reason why that is an M-rated collection. But at some point, I think we are going to show off the Midway Arcade Treasures 2 and 3, because I had a good time playing through this first edition for PlayStation 2, and just to go through this, well, actually, before we stop, okay, no, it's just the interviews as far as what Toobin is. So, alright, I think with that, I think we're going to be closing the book on Super Old Game Saturday for this week with the Midway Arcade Treasures for the PlayStation 2. It's also on the Xbox and the GameCube. No matter how you get it, it's an interesting collection with a lot of interesting games, fun games, and definitely an interesting part of gaming history and of Midway's history. And you should be able to find this for pretty cheap. I think I've seen it's like $10, $15 now. So yeah, if you want to go in touch with your Midway element and you have one of those systems, definitely get it. And from what I understand from chat, they're telling me that the Midway Arcade Origins collection is quite good. I don't remember if this game is on it, but there are definitely a bunch of games. I think they split across some from all these Midway Arcade Treasures games that were included on that, which is on the PS3, the 360, and I believe it's on the PC as well. But yeah, we got a good element of Midway going on, and I had a good time with this, and hopefully you guys had a good time too, you guys and gals out there. And I'm going to look forward to next week for Super Old Game Saturday, which is going to be the return to Supersonic Game Saturday. We're into June next week, which is surprising. I can't believe it's almost halfway through this year already. But yeah, we're going to be playing the Sonic Game of the Month initiative with the Sonic game that started it all, the original Sonic the Hedgehog game for the Sega Genesis, but we're also going to play the Game Gear version, so we're going to play both games through. I don't think they'll take 3.5 hours. I think they'll take like 2, maybe it'll take 3. But yeah, we're going to do both of those using Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the Xbox. And we'll go through another discussion of that collection because I screwed up when we did for Mean Bean Machine, so we're going to fix that. And my girlfriend's going to be on the program. She's going to be making the Super Old Game Saturday debut, and she is looking forward to it very, very much. And she's a big Sonic fan, as I am, and she's going to have a lot to say on that. She'll also have a lot to say when we touch the Mega Man games in the next coming weeks, because the week after next, we'll be playing Mega Man X3 and Mega Man X4 in the same night. I'll be playing Mega Man X3, she'll be playing Mega Man X4, and looking forward to seeing how that's working. And then the week after that, she's going to be starting to play Mega Man Legends for the PlayStation for us. And she's the expert on that game, so there's no one else I'd be willing to handle that. No one else would be willing to play that one with in particular. So yeah, we're going to get some guest appearances on this program for the next couple weeks, and yeah, it's good stuff, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully you've been enjoying the Super Old Game Saturday stuff that's going on the YouTube site. Enjoying tonight. This episode will go up probably on Monday. I just have to go through the editing of the video, check to make sure there's no issues with Twitch acting up, because I learned that last week when I looked at the Mad Maestro stuff and realized, wait a minute, I got to edit around this. And hopefully you're liking some of the edits that are going on to that, giving you more of an incentive to see these playthroughs or the streams after the fact, even if you saw the whole one tonight. And if you missed part of it, you also have that option too, because it's going to be up there for you. If If you can't make it for the stream each week, or 7 o'clock is not something you can set to it, go to the YouTube site. The link should be somewhere in wherever the Twitch element is. I'm kind of pointing towards my laptop as far as where the Twitch stream and screen is. But yeah, the channel, as far as Captain D-Track, that's myself. And I will indicate myself that way next week for the introduction of my girlfriend on the program. So I'm looking forward to that. And end of the month, we're also doing Super Mario RPG. But for the second part. Yeah, next week is the Super Sonic Game Saturday entry. I'm looking forward to it very much. I'm looking forward to the introduction of my girlfriend on the program, and we're going to have a good time. And hopefully you had a good time tonight. All you guys and gals out there, hope you enjoyed the Midway Arcade Treasures experience. And with that, I'll wish you a good night, a good rest of your weekend, a good week coming forward, a happy Memorial Day if you're someone in America celebrating. And I'll see you next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and my girlfriend are Sonic wanting this place up. And we're going to have a great time with that, and hope to see you there. Meantime, I'll sign off tonight. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week for those games, and until then, keep being awesome, and take care.